Hello, GDQ Hotfix viewers. Thank you for sticking around after doing all the things. You are now watching Parallel Universe, the show about community-created content, such as mods, fan games, even things like randomizers and bingo. We had a lot of super cool movement and speedruns on Do All the Things. And I'm excited to continue that trend with a mod that I have been wanting on for quite a bit now, Super Mario Eclipse. This is a mod of Super Mario Sunshine. And I think I will let our runner, Mad Tyro, explain it probably a bit more in depth than I can. How you doing, Mad Tyro?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm super excited for this run. So, how you guys been doing? I've got my co-commentators. I've got Bad SMSer, former runner, and he's organized a whole bunch of the speedrun routes. We got the creator of the mod himself, Joshua. And then we've got another runner who runs one of the more obscure categories, like 197. It's one of the only active runners for that category. And he also runs like 240 and like some any percent on the side. So that's Zekin. But yeah, for this run, I'm basically going to be trying to make it to the last unlockable level of the game within the about 3-hour time limit that I have. It's a little tight, but I think we can do it. So
I'm excited for what you have cooked up here, because I pitched this as basically, I have 3 hours. A full 240 shine run of this is like 4.5, 5 hours.
Yep.
And so my thought was, let's just see how many shines you can get in 3 hours. And
yeah,
you have taken this and made it something pretty cool as far as I'm hearing, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it's certainly a pretty unique run. It's like a chopped up 240 run, but it's got some pretty unique segments in comparison to that run too. It's got like some completely different routing for a handful of the stages, so I'm really excited. But yeah, I think we should just get right into it. 3, 2, 1, go.
And good luck.
All right, here we go.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Appreciate the good luck, you guys.
Yeah, so Super Mario Eclipse starts off at Peach's Castle. We kind of wanted to bridge the ending of Super Mario 64 to the beginning of Super Mario Sunshine, so we figured we'd kind of create that beginning segment to connect, coming back to the castle of Super Mario 64 to Mario and the gang flying to the airstrip for their vacation.
That's cute. I like that.
You'll notice as well Mario throwing water balloons here instead of going in grabbing Flood. It's another addition of the mod.
Yeah, the water balloons were kind of interesting because when I first wanted to add Piantissimo as a playable character to the game, there was a really obvious issue of either Piantissimo needed to use Flood, which I didn't want to do to help differentiate him and his playstyle, or he was not going to be able to clean goop. So my solution to that was the water balloons. And they were so fun, I decided to add them to the other characters as well.
Something else you might have noticed is skippable cutscenes. Something that's not present in vanilla Mario Sunshine, but has been incorporated into some speedruns.
Yeah, this mod has a whole bunch of quality of life improvements in comparison to Sunshine, so it's got like a whole bunch of unique stuff that it has to offer in comparison.
Thank goodness. Obviously, the starting cutscene of Sunshine being a point of strife among speedrunners for a while.
Yeah, so much so that they use hacked file just to get past it, I believe.
Bro, what is he doing on the island? Hello?
I will say, I don't think I've ever seen that before, Tyro.
Agreed.
I've seen it like once or twice, but not often. Already getting into the shenanigans with this game.
Yeah, so can you all elaborate a bit more about what Sunshine Eclipse does? There are, gameplay changes, level changes, things of that nature.
Yeah, so Super Mario Eclipse, we kind of like to call it like an expansion mod, a reimagining, if you will. It takes what Sunshine already gave us and it improves upon that as well as adding new content. So all the levels from the base game are here, Mario's here, the plot from Super Mario Sunshine is here, but it's all been added upon. So, for example, as you'll see later in the run, once you defeat Bowser in Corona Mountain, that's not where the game ends, and instead you have this additional campaign at Daisy Cruiser, where you have a bunch of new levels that feel a lot more custom and unique, and, you know, that's a lot of fun. You've got the new characters. I spent a lot of time fixing many of the bugs that this game has to help make the experience more cohesive and fair. And then, of course, Mario himself has new moves to help kind of modernize it to feel more smooth the way like Odyssey's does, for example. And the speedrunners love it.
Oh yeah, the new movement is fantastic. It does like, it just gives you so many more options on like the depth that Sunshine already has, because that game is also extremely complicated.
Another thing that's particularly good for speedrunners as well is what we're seeing here. You can move between worlds without getting kicked out every time you get a shine, which is very, very nice as well.
Yeah, that was one of the big things for Super Mario Eclipse that we wanted to kind of build upon from Sunshine, was help making the island feel more connected and cohesive, because narratively speaking, the whole game is supposed to take place in this one location that Mario is traveling to and from. But in the base game, due to how Nintendo designed it, it just kind of feels like you're going from Delfino Plaza to these disconnected, disjointed areas, and it's a little bit difficult to truly capture that feeling of like really traveling across the island. So to fix that with Eclipse, we did a number of measures. One being that a lot of shine sprites in this game no longer boot you out to Delfino Plaza. The only ones that still do are ones where the level itself is just fundamentally different. So like a boss fight, for example. The other things that we did, one of them was building these interconnected areas. So these are spots that exist between the main locations. So, for example, between Rico Harbor and Gelato Beach is one such location, and these areas don't have like any gameplay mechanics beyond a secret hidden shine. They're entirely there to give the player the ability to walk across the island, just as we might have imagined as kids growing up playing this game for the first time. And then finally, as you saw Tyro do just earlier, he was able to jump down from Bianco Hills to travel to a different location. So there's a lot of options for traveling across the island that the original Super Mario Sunshine didn't used to have.
But yeah, we got our first instance of shine that doesn't kick you out of the stage here in a sec with the hidden shine. So it's got like that Mario 64-esque vibe where you get to continue playing like after you grab your reds. Or the 100 coin shine, I guess.
Yeah, in Mario 64, it's the 100 coin star that does that.
Yeah.
I love that though, that's a great change. It's really nice for pacing.
Oh yeah, it's also like really interesting for like routing and downtime too. And it's not just hidden shines that do it. There's like a couple of other shines in the game that also have that attribute, and it like makes the routing a lot more dynamic in comparison to Sunshine as well.
I imagine routing for this game is changed quite a bit from Vanilla Mario Sunshine.
Oh yeah. The main like 120 shines, like one of their main goals during that run, like the first half of that run is to do any percent, and that's to stop the plaza cutscenes from playing every single time you enter a stage. But since we have the transitional areas between all of the levels, we never get those plaza cutscenes, like ever. So it's like there's no reason for us to do that pretty much. I'm just leaving.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
I think one of the stranger choices we made in hindsight was recoloring the UI, but I am happy with it. I think it's a good color. I think part of our rationale is just that we wanted Eclipse to stand out from the base game, like the moment you look at the screen. Like it's an immediate sign that lets you know if you're looking at Eclipse or base Sunshine.
I was gonna say, it makes it distinctive, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I think one of the funnier things to talk about is that little like overclock 150 text on the bottom of the screen. It was this really strange situation, and I'm sure Tyra will be able to help recall some things for me, but essentially, like between console and emulator, there was like this unavoidable lag that was happening in Eclipse, just like in certain situations. And essentially, we came to the decision to standardize a 150% CPU overclock on emulator as like the speedrunning standard to get rid of the game lag and help make the speedruns just a little bit more like consistent.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was implementing that little overclock text on the bottom of the screen, so that way, whenever moderators are like validating runs and stuff, they can see what the CPU overclock setting is from the Dolphin emulator.
It also answers a question that I would have probably brought up later, which is if you had any struggle getting all of this to run on, you know, GameCube or GameCube-like hardware. So.
Oh yeah, and I can dig deeper into that as well, going beyond the overclock text. There's so much to talk about, really. I'll keep it face value for now, and maybe we can dig deeper into the details later. But essentially, whenever
Yes.
I was working on this mod and, you know, doing the patches that I needed to with Super Mario Sunshine, it's kind of a multifaceted problem because, for one, I can't recompile the game's code because we don't have a decompilation of Super Mario Sunshine yet, like some people are able to do with Super Mario 64 because it has a decomp, right? Case is a great example of this. So what I have to do is I have to patch on top of the game's code, and that is expensive, and it starts to slow things down if you do too much with it. Additionally, you know, for us as a team, learning how to mod Sunshine, really like knowing how to optimize the like stage geometry, for example, and like what really hit performance and what didn't was something that we had to learn over time. And due to our own self-imposed deadlines, we weren't going to spend years and years recreating everything to optimize it as much as possible. So we came to this middle ground where like we cleaned up the like some of our older work, but we didn't spend too much time on it. That way we could get this mod out to people, and I'm pretty happy with where it's at.
It seems quite well done, I'll say.
Yeah, this mod, we worked on it for about 5.5 years on an official basis, and it was really about 6 full years of work if you count just my like fumbling around in Super Mario Sunshine before I ever put together a team or had like the mod on an official announced basis. So there was definitely a lot of time to learn how things work within this game.
To take us back to the overclock message, or the watermark on the bottom, I also see the timer. I would assume that is some sort of like load the speedrun timer, am I correct?
Yeah, so the yellow timer is your like gameplay time. It is the time for whenever like the game is actually running and doing things that are related to the gameplay loop. The orange kind of like burnt orange timer, that is strictly load times. And that was something that we did because when you overclock on emulator, or even like we compared to GameCube, the like difference in the CPU clock actually causes it to load faster on like the emulator than it does on the Wii, and it loads faster on Wii than it does on GameCube. So the load time, like secondary timer, is there for moderators to be able to like, you know, do the math and figure out like the true time of speedruns.
Yeah, it helps a lot with like the consistency between all of the hardware, so that there's not like a strict hardware advantage, so like people can play on their preferred method pretty much, instead of like for the run to be optimal, it's like you have to get a PC and it has to be emulator and you have to overclock it. So
yeah,
make like really the barrier of entry a little nicer.
Mm-hmm. That was really the challenge, was I wanted speedrunners to be able to play on a mostly even field between GameCube and Wii and Dolphin emulator, because I wanted the accessibility to be as high as possible. So that was definitely a long-winded challenge for me. I had to do a lot of stuff to make that happen, including a lot of really invisible patches that I made to the game to make 60 FPS as an option function almost exactly the same as 30 FPS. So a lot of people who play Super Mario Sunshine are familiar with the 60 FPS Gecko code that lets you play the game at 60 FPS on Dolphin, and they're also aware of how problematic it is. It breaks the game in a lot of different ways, but in Eclipse, I really took a lot of time to polish out the 60 FPS mod. So if you play 60 FPS on Eclipse, you can actually speedrun it, and everything paces the same now as with 30 FPS.
Yeah, the 60 FPS is super nice as well. I saw someone asking in the chat earlier about is it hard to move quickly and fluidly in with this new moveset? And the moves themselves feel great. The like long jump, for example, feels very natural. But also having the option of 60 FPS, I find just makes everything feel much more fluid. And there are practically no issues that come with playing on 60 either, which is very, very nice. Especially after the new patch, everything has kind of come together. So that's one of my favorite parts of the Eclipse mod.
Also, we're just gonna skip over Lighthouse Island? What happened?
Right.
That was new. There was a new thing that we did, guys. We missed it. Oops.
Yeah, that is true. Now, Lighthouse Island is one of the many new locations in this mod. That was the level where Mad Tyro is fighting that kind of like purple-looking shine sprite.
Yeah.
That is the Dark Shine, as we coined it during development, and it's essentially a shine sprite that's been corrupted by the goo. And so you have to fight it to free it, and then you're able to collect it. And I thought it was a really interesting boss idea. I had been wanting to do it since like year one of Eclipse's development, way back before I could have ever actually executed it. I just knew that I wanted to do some sort of like evil shine sprite as a boss, because I thought that would be really, you know, like crafty and fun and have a lot of opportunities to be distinctly unique in terms of gameplay from the other bosses in Sunshine. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out.
Got a 2 cycle or
2 cycles, decent.
yeah,
I'll take it.
A lot of the first half of the run is going to be a lot of the levels from vanilla, because of course Eclipse is an expansion effectively to everything in vanilla is still in the game. So there's a lot of content that gets added on as well on top of it. Is Lighthouse the first new world that we've seen so far?
Yeah, it is. Also, we got a speed run trick here called episode warping that basically teleports you to a shine that you're not supposed to be at yet. So it's like I just entered episode 5, but then you can see that I'm fighting Shadow Mario, which is in episode 7. So
Yeah, and the context surrounding episode warping is really funny because I actually wasn't aware of it until this most recent update. I don't think I would have fixed it because I kind of don't like patching out things that are like really, really established for the speedrunning community. But yeah, episode warping is actually new to Eclipse. You cannot do this in Sunshine, and it's because in Eclipse, we added a new feature, which is the reset area option in the pause menu. Due to limitations, it shares the same option button as the exit area one, but you just hold Z on the controller to activate it. And what it does is instead of booting you back to Delfino Plaza, it takes you to the Shine Select screen of the area that you're currently in. That way you can like basically shortcut to doing a new episode in that area. But the problem is it introduced episode warping as a bug, so...
I'll take it. I think it's sick.
Oh yeah, it's definitely sick.
I don't want to deal with King Boo in my any percent speedrun. Get that guy out of here. Get him out. No. We are also skipping King Boo in this run, by the way, because he's slow. So we'll get to see it again, too.
Yeah, I've always had a very like speedrunner and community-oriented outlook on game design and like the community of my work, because after all, who are the people supporting it except the speedrunners and the people playing the mod, right? Like, why would I want to alienate them? So it's definitely a conscious point of mine to look out for speedrunners, enthusiasts, and casuals to make sure that everybody's accommodated for, because there's a moderation to everything, but I do really think that the point of a game is that people have fun playing it. So if people have an issue and it's causing them to not have as much fun playing it, then I should do what I can to, remedy that and accommodate those people. So during Eclipse's development and after its initial release, there has always been a very close dialogue between myself and the speedrunners and the community, just to make sure that everything is, fit to their needs.
Love to hear that, as obviously another speedrunner. I'm quite familiar, as some of you may be aware, with the Super Monkey Ball modding scene, and there are a lot of parallels I can draw between what I'm hearing about this and what I know about Monkey Ball. Sick Out of Bounds, by the way.
Thanks. That is Eclipse exclusive, so...
Right. A lot of the geometry, I believe, was reworked in the Eclipse mod. I'm sure Josh knows more about that than I do, more specifics.
Yeah, I do. So, it's kind of a combination of some collision got reworked, not as much as you might think, and then the more influential side of it, which was me patching and reworking some of the collision engine of this game. And a large part of that is because Base Sunshine's collision engine is actually really, really, really finicky with slopes and stuff, and it was making it extremely difficult for us to actually develop new custom levels. So that was what first initiated my desire to fix the collision in Sunshine. And I ended up doing a lot of different fixes, and I actually implemented a couple of fixes that Case has in Super Mario 64 as well. Those being that obnoxiously large objects do not just base through walls all the time. I actually got that one directly from a video of his, and then I DM'd him on Twitter at the time, asking him for the source to the code that rounds out the corners of walls. Because in Base Sunshine, if you walk up to a wall that's a 90-degree corner, and you like walk into it, you'll kind of clip halfway through and it's really jittery. So once I got K's source code to patch that, now in Eclipse, those walls round out nicely and you don't jitter on them anymore, which kind of it like hints at a really interesting thing about Sunshine that I'm not sure too many people know about, which is that Sunshine is of course built off of Super Mario 64. It's just Super Mario 64 rewritten and reworked, and because of that, a lot of Sunshine's code in terms of like the player controller, so Mario, and then like the collision logic, it comes directly from Super Mario 64. So a lot of those patches that K's has made for Super Mario 64 actually just translate directly over to Sunshine. So, you know, credits to K's, shout out to him for the brilliant mind he is, and also the connections he has who have also helped him along the way that I was able to pull from.
Shows how these things are often a community effort.
That was whack. I got pushed all the way to the left by the eel there.
I was gonna say, like, I didn't fully know what was happening there, but that looked very strange. There we go, just floating on down to the shine.
Yeah, so from what I am currently aware of, Super Mario 64 was obviously its own original engine, right? Because it was Nintendo's first 3D Mario game. And then Sunshine was built off of Super Mario 64 pretty directly. And then Super Mario Galaxy was built off of Super Mario Sunshine, but they did a lot more like rewriting and reworking of the engine. So it's a lot less like obvious that it came from Sunshine, but it did because of some characteristics with the source code that we like are aware of as a general Nintendo modding community. But then Galaxy 2 was just Galaxy, where they unhard-coded some stuff and made it a bit more adaptable. And then I don't know about 3D World or any of those, but I do believe Odyssey is its own unique engine. I do believe that they like rewrote everything from the ground up. So, but I could be wrong, and I would love to know.
Alright, we also got our next, like, really big Eclipse edition coming up real soon after this, and then you guys will see what I'm talking about in a sec.
Excited to see it.
Oof.
Always love to see the new content.
There's so much new content in Eclipse. We made it a point to really try and make each one stand out from the levels in the base game. Because one of the critiques that one could have about Super Mario Sunshine is that Nintendo wasn't particularly creative. So for example, you have 3 Gooper Blooper boss fights, right? But with the new content in Eclipse, we really wanted to make it a point to not only have the new content be as unique as we could afford to do with the time that we had, but also make sure it was all as unique as possible, specifically from the base game content. So we're going to see a lot of cool things. It's going to be, you know, sights to see, things to behold, a lot of funny content, a lot of cool things that'll be spectacular, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, so slight elephant in the room, playing as Piantissimo right now. Once you've completed the races, Piantissimo becomes an unlockable character with a cutscene as well that, of course, is skipped for the sake of time in a speedrun. But yeah, moves much faster and has a double jump and many other things. Very, very nice to have in the addition for a speedrun, especially in a long one like this. Piantissimo saves a lot of time being able to move the way he does.
My gosh, he's schmoovin'.
Yeah, so there was this person, I don't remember who, but they said something along the lines of, like paraphrased, I guess. When you like defeat a villain and then they join your party and then they're always like super duper weak and they don't compare to what they used to be. Well, Piantissimo is quite literally the opposite of that. He starts out weak, he joins your party, and he becomes incredibly strong. Which extracurricular activity to any interested viewers on the stream. If you want to watch the Piantissimo cutscene for yourself, feel free to play Super Mario Eclipse and try it out. Or you could probably just find one of many YouTube videos that will allow you to just see it immediately. But it's definitely worth a watch. We had this guy who goes by Floodstop. He is a really good animator and he did all those cutscenes for us, so shout out to him.
That's super cool. And if you type !PU in the chat and click on the last link, you should get to a page where you can click on another link, and that should eventually take you to the Game Banana page for Super Mario Eclipse, so you can get it yourself. And I wanted to propose a question to all of you, except for, I suppose, Joshua. How did you all hear about Super Mario Eclipse, and what got you into it?
It was pretty long ago now, but I think I just found out about it through word of mouth. My brother started live streaming playing Super Mario Eclipse. Was kind of following it through the development a little bit, and it looked really, really cool. I'm like, I've got to definitely play that. This was shortly after it released, I think, was kind of late 2024. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's grown a lot since release as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at the Game Banana page, there's so much of the page is taken up by a huge section of patch notes, which is awesome. Absolutely, yeah. It seems like it's grown a lot since it was released, not only in the community, but also just in terms of updates and such.
Oh, for sure.
Zekin, what about you? How did you find out about this?
Well, I discovered Eclipse when I searched so much mode of Super Mario Sunshine, because Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite game. And I searched the mod and find Eclipse, by the way, and say, oh, it's a very good game and mod.
That's how I discover stuff for the show sometimes.
So basically, when the full release of Eclipse is soon, it's very hard to find all blue coins, by the way, because so much hidden blue coins. For the vanilla game, it's very easy to take all blue coins, but some levels, custom level has been different for blue coins, so it's very, very hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing through Eclipse for the first time and having to get all the blue coins, it was pretty rough. Like, all the new levels, you get down to like that last blue coin, and some of them are like really hard to find. You're like, man, this is not easy. But yeah, I think the way that I found Eclipse is I just like noticed people playing through it on Twitch. It's like people still play through Eclipse on Twitch now, where they're just like doing a casual playthrough, and I'm like, this looks pretty interesting. I saw like a couple of the new levels and stuff, and then once that happened, I started getting into it myself, and then I feel like this game was just a lot of fun movement-wise. So then I picked it up as a speed game. Now this is like what I play, because I used to speedrun Sunshine, but I speedrun this instead now. So
it's the mark of a good mod. Is when you see people playing it, and you're like, you know what? That looks like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the particular moment for me was I saw the Darkshine boss fight that we saw earlier, and I just thought it was so cool, and I'm like, man, I just gotta play. I have to play this mod. Like, if there's new bosses and stuff in it, like, there's gotta be a lot of content.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is legit, man.
Yeah, shout out to the Darkshine coming in clutch, bringing people into the mod. So, I think kind of an elephant in the room. We're talking about how blue coins are hard to find, and that is a problem that is definitely not exclusive to Eclipse. Sunshine was also pretty bad about it. Thankfully, in Eclipse, we've done our best to address it with the limitations at hand. In the pause menu now, there is a tracker that shows you in all the areas you've visited in the game, which you can scroll page by page, how many shines of blue coins you've collected and how many there are in total. So it's very easy to just kind of like paginate through each area of the game that you've been able to visit, make sure you've collected all the shines of blue coins, and figure out where you need to go next. And then shout outs to Wolsey and Uncle Meat, and anybody else who might have worked on it that's not coming to my head. There is a player guide. There is a player guide that has all of the Eclipse levels, and it tells you all about how to collect, blue coins and shine sprites, and all the secrets and things to do. So no one is left stranded between the player's guide for Eclipse, the player's guide for Sunshine, if you want to use that, or just a YouTube video, and the Shine and Blue Coin Tracker in the pause menu. It is a lot easier to actually collect things in this game and complete it compared to the base game.
Yeah, and to be clear as well, the player guide is 200 pages. It is a very comprehensive and amazing player guide. I've referenced it a few times, kind of just playing through the game, and the strategies in there are really good. And having the top-down view maps of everything is super nice as well, and it's very well written. So yeah, love the player guide.
For collecting blue coins now on Eclipse, all blue coins are collectible in few episodes. Not need to specific episode to collect one blue coins or another.
True. Yeah, like revamping a handful of the blue coins so that they're accessible in multiple episodes. That's sick.
Yeah, it was a strange design decision in the base Sunshine to have certain blue coins only accessible in 1 or 2 episodes per world, where they really should be accessible in almost all of them. An example of which I think being one of them that you either just grabbed or is just in the casino. There's this M graffiti that's behind you when you first walk in the casino. It's just not there except for in, I believe, Sirena 5, which is very unusual. So Eclipse does a good job at making the blues less, pull your hair out to find.
Yeah.
But some blue need to get on specific episode. Example, Rico 1.
Yeah, there's still like very few that are still episode specific, but there's a lot less in comparison to normal Sunshine.
Yeah.
Now, something that we're going to get to listen to once we get to custom levels is the new music that has been introduced in Super Mario Eclipse, which I believe is one of the strongest parts of the mod. Steven, who is like our main musician, is in the chat right now, and I'm sure he can help me make sure that everybody is credited, but he and Trevor worked together on a lot of music for the mod, and it's all just absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure that y'all are going to get a nice kick out of listening to it.
It's a very good music.
There's so much that goes into stuff like this. Not only is it, the gameplay changes and the coding changes and assets and stuff, but music is an underrated part of it.
Yeah, the music in Eclipse is truly spectacular because I feel like it strikes just the right chord of being both similar to the style of music in the base game while also being distinctly unique.
The right chord. Music pun.
Haha, yes.
So So we've mentioned some of the movement changes, and especially, with the game also playing at 60 FPS now, but can we go a bit more in depth
What?
with some of these movement changes? Oh,
I didn't know that was a
never
thing.
mind. We can talk about this instead.
I did not know you could spray that guy and have him move.
One of the most significant movement changes that's added to Mario's kit is the hover burst, which, I mean, is so clutch for speedrunning, but also very used in any of the modded levels as well, where you can just get extra height just like that. Mario can do that hover burst by pressing R and then A. It feels really good to use. You never have issues with it, or it doesn't go off when you feel like it should. And makes you much more mobile, being able to reach places, and overall just makes everything feel a lot more fluid. So hover burst as well as the long jump, of course, which is also now part of Mario's kit.
Yeah, and I feel like it's worth noting that we've watched Tyro just now in this level use the hover burst at least 10 times in the past minute or two to easily traverse up the floors as he moves around and collects all these coins. Shout out to Brace, by the way, for being the guy to come up with the idea for the hover burst, which is, I feel like, pretty much everybody's favorite move to the new moveset unanimously. I don't really feel like I've seen people say it wasn't their favorite at this point in time.
Yeah, the hover burst is super sick. It adds so much new stuff that you can do for the game. It's very versatile because you could do it in a whole bunch of different states to have different stuff happen. It's really cool.
Yeah, I would say if there is a move that people did think was their favorite that wasn't the hover burst, I feel like I've seen some people say it's the long jump, and that's likely because it comes from 64, and it's something that makes people feel cozy and comfortable, and it's cool to see something from 64 make its way into Sunshine. It also has its own utilities too, especially when you combine it with the hover burst, because the hover burst is it keeps your momentum. It doesn't cause you to go a static speed. So when you use something like the long jump with the hover burst, it can allow you to extend the momentum of the long jump further than normally possible. So you'll see Tyro using the hover burst just kind of spread throughout his movement to help make sure that he's going full speed. I mean, even just now, I watched him kick off with a hover burst just to get a little extra push forward.
Yeah, hover burst rollout is one of the most broken movement options in the game because it also enables, not enables, but it makes a different movement tech called the neutral jump happen much more frequently because it's all about keeping your speed momentum. I'll do one here, but this super high. I missed it there because I landed in the water. But you could get a super high neutral jump by just pushing A because the game stores all of your speed and translates it into height because of the way that Eclipse's engine works. It just allows you to keep and transfer more speed more often for basically everything. So
also, I feel like I just gotta point out that crazy bug where Tyro just clips through the door and tries to open the opposite side of it. I don't even know exactly what he's doing there to make that happen, but it has something to do with hovering into it. Just like that. Speak of the devil.
do you guys know how that works? Co-commentators? Do you guys know?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that it's there in Vanilla Sunshine as well, though.
Yeah, it is. Putting you guys on the spot. You guys.
I assume it has to do with what side of the camera,
Yeah.
or what side of the door your camera's on, and it starts the cutscene from the wrong side and warps you to the other side.
Yep, that's exactly how it works. So during your hover, you can actually store your Y cam, which is the first person view, And then, like you said, you set the camera up to where the first person view puts you on the other side, and then to do the door opening animation, it'll just warp you over there, so. It's pretty sick, it's pretty sick. Cool vanilla tech.
Talking about new moves as well, Piantissimo having this crazy good double jump as well. Feels super good to use, and lets you do levels like these way faster. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Once you get the hang of it, it's incredible.
Yeah, Piantissimo is the parkour champion, and you'll see that he really excels in these secret courses. You're able to make jumps and take shortcuts that Mario could only dream of.
Especially without Flood. It's like Mario can barely keep up with Flood, and then it's like, yeah, you take that jetpack off of him, it's like Mario's not going anywhere. So we do get to use Piantissimo quite a bit throughout the run.
So Flash in the stream chat is talking about a new mod that is coming to the Sunshine community called Super Mario Elements, which is it's essentially if you took the custom part of Eclipse and made it absolutely massive. So rather than being an expansion mod like Eclipse, it's all new content, all new story, more features than you could ever imagine. I'm very excited for it. You know, shout out to Team Elements and mod Super Mario Elements, which will segue into a thing that I think is a little bit interesting. Surprisingly, there are a sizable number of people who don't like Eclipse for being an expansion mod, and like I can definitely see the criticism. And my response to that, really, because I've never really responded to it, is I think what Eclipse does for them is we have taken care of the need for an expansion mod. So now, just like Team Elements with Super Mario Elements, people in the modding community for this game can focus entirely on creating new content instead of trying to fix the original game.
And perhaps some of that new content will be featured on this very hotfix show in the future. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would all be happy to see it. I think people are very hungry for good Sunshine modding content. Super Mario Sunshine's always been a troubled game, and it's always been like a mixed bag of people who like it and people who don't. And I think even the people who don't like it recognize the potential that the game had and are excited to see these new mods that are coming out that improve the game and add all this new content and do things that we could have only imagined the game having 10 years ago.
That's the beauty of modding communities, and that's a big reason why I wanted to have this hotfix show centered around, you know, mods and fan games because there's a lot of passion and a lot of work put into exactly what you're describing. You know, making, not only is it making custom content, but it's also improving upon what already exists.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we're seeing another new world as well. Hotel Lacrima. This is a very fun world. Set in this mafia-run hotel, similar to something like Serena Beach's hotel, but of course entirely new, all new content from Mario Eclipse. Lots of great levels here. Very fun world. Personally, my favorite of the pre-Corona worlds. It's up there with Airtoe Rock as well. But yeah,
I would say this is my favorite too. I really like just this music that plays right now is so good.
Yep. Shout out to Steven and Trevor. They really sent it. They knew exactly how to make it work, how to make it happen, and I couldn't be more proud of them for their work ethic and just their skill. More inspired by them, if you will.
I'm curious, is this music available anywhere else?
Yeah, so I know we have a lot of the music on Spotify. I don't know if it's all on there. That is for Steven in the chat to tell us. And then we also have uploads on the Eclipse Team YouTube channel, where it's like a visualizer. And pretty much every single one of the songs is on there. I do think they all are. So there are, between YouTube and Spotify, 2 different places that anyone can check out to listen to this music on the side. Also, in the chat is my brother. He is going by Rhythm Raccoon. He is the co-creator of this mod. He and I started it together. There's a lot of fun story to be had with that, but for now I just want to focus on him being here. Shout out to him. He contributed so much to this mod. He was the one who provided most of the creative vision, if not all of it. And, super proud of him. It was really cool for him to envision this. A little tease to the story is that he was the one that wanted to make the mod, and I was dragged along for the ride as his younger brother, so we'll get into that later.
Music is good. I'm kind of just vibing to it.
Yeah, the music really, it all has these, sunshine characteristics, but it's still, distinctly Eclipse, all of it, and I think that that's really great.
Did you just cheese basketball by grabbing the ball and jumping up and down in the hoop 5 times?
Is that not how you play basketball? That's how I play basketball.
I'm not tall enough to do that, okay?
You need a shorter hoop.
Clearly.
So that was something I knew about before the mod even released, and I decided to keep it in because I thought it was really funny, and I just figured that if people try it, they should be rewarded with being able to do it, because it's so harmless.
It is, you got a reaction from me, so it is funny. Chat's reacting as well.
Yep.
Yeah, let me see Michael Jordan do that.
Oh, almost.
So, with the locations on Isle Delfino, such as Hotel La Crema and Lighthouse Island, they were inspired by the names, which were themselves derived from the beta level select screen of Super Mario Sunshine. So, there are location names in the file system of Sunshine that don't actually exist in the game. So you have Hotel La Crema, for example, and we wanted to, bring those to life as part of Eclipse being an expansion mod. So I do believe Erdo Rock is another one of them.
This is another one of my favorite segments. Just falling through the whole thing, hitting the checkpoints.
Yeah.
Great level on its own. The speedrun is very funny.
And for this level, so Enrico Harbor, the guy that makes you ride on the bloopers, his name in the game is Big Daddy Blooper Surfing, I believe. And for this slide, we wanted to kind of build on top of that, and we added in Big Mama of Booty Scooting. So she's the one that talks to you at the top of that slide.
Yeah, you might be able to catch it because I'm going to do the slide again here real quick. It's kind of hard to make out, but if you thought Mario didn't ride the slide enough. I don't even gotta touch the slide with this guy almost.
So here's a fun thing to point out. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, your thing's more important. I'm just making a joke.
Well, all I was gonna say is something that maybe not a lot of people have noticed about Sunshine is when Mario is falling a great distance, his hat will start jittering. I think his head might as well, but I know for sure his hat does. And with Piantissimo, the same thing happens. And so whenever you fall a long distance with Piantissimo, you'll see his helmet jittering by the vertices.
It's a fun detail.
Yeah,
The joke I was gonna make is just that was the most quintessential speedrun thing I've ever seen. Just interacting with none of it. Sorry, I think I accidentally interrupted someone else who was about to speak. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it is just his hat, because it's supposed to be a blowing in the wind effect when you're falling for that long.
Yeah.
I've always loved how crazy busy this secret level is. There's so much going on in that secret. Many different paths you can take, unlike most Mario Sunshine secrets where there's one very clear path you can take, and then that's that. It also makes the red coins way more interesting.
Yeah.
So, the person that made that secret level, which is called Block World, by the way, he's in the chat. It's Brace. It's the same guy who came up with the idea for the hoverburst. He is currently celebrating at the unfortunate passage of Piantissimo. He died on June 25th of 2026 as he fell to his death from the machinations of Block World. So... Again, shout out to Brace. He's very eccentric, he's very fun, and he's currently celebrating Tyro's unfortunate doom.
Man, Block World's got hands.
That's because Brace has hands. So yeah, we're gonna see as we continue through Hotel La Crema that it's very focused on this sort of Pianta Mafia theme. So in the first episode we had Don Pianta himself, and in this particular mission that Mad Tyro is playing right now, you are being managed by the Mafia to sculpt the watermelons for them. And once you create the shape that they're looking for, you get the Shine Sprite. It's a very fun, casual, lightweight mission.
Except for the one watermelon that I just left. They're not worried about that one.
Yeah, I did notice that.
They're about to eat it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
They can't see that one. The dude can't see that one. It's on the other side. It's fine. It's close enough.
We're gonna say that's why, because that's really funny. But coming up really soon here, we're gonna see one of the most eccentric, fun missions in Eclipse. It's truly a spectacle.
I don't know about that.
Oh, are you not gonna do it?
I don't think so.
You should just demo it.
I don't got time.
You don't have time, it's fine.
It's not in the route. I didn't route it. It is a very fun level, but it unfortunately is. There's a lot of talking that goes on.
You can at least tell by
themselves.
That is true. You can tell by the mission name what it might be, though. Yeah, just, play the mod for yourself, and you can check out all these cool things.
Yeah, So in order for me to like actually complete this run, I need to be on average collecting about a shine a minute, because for the last unlockable level to make it there, which is basically the goal of this run, is to just like showcase every level of the game. So I want to make it to the last level and just like get to show it off pretty much. But in order to do that, I need to get about a shine every minute. So if I take a couple slightly longer shines, it's real close. Even with how I've routed it already, it is a bit tough, but I might be a little bit behind at the moment, but that's because the later half of the more custom levels have shines that you get to continue moving after, like they don't kick you out as often. So I'll be slightly behind, but then we should be able to make it up towards like the middle of the run pretty much.
For those who have joined after the start of this run, I explained it a little bit at the beginning, but basically I have a 3-hour slot, and the full like 100% adjacent category to this game, 240 shines, takes like 4.5-5 minutes. Unfortunately, we simply do not have the time for that, and so my proposition was for Mad Tyro to just get as many shines as he can in 3 hours, and he has taken that challenge to heart and is trying to not only get as many shines, but to show off as much of the game as possible, which is awesome. I think that's super cool. And another thing, for those of you new to Hotfix, for some of our longer runs, we like to take wellness breaks just to make sure that, you know, you all, and of course our runners and commentators, and also myself, make sure that we all have an opportunity to hydrate, stretch our legs, and things of that nature during some of these longer runs. And we are approaching our first break that I think we can take right about now, actually, right after collecting this shine.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
So what we're gonna do is pause the timer. We're gonna go take our quick break. This is a great opportunity for you all to get up, you know, go get some water, meds check, perhaps that's something you need to do. And we'll be right back with more Mario Sunshine Eclipse. Super Mario Eclipse, that's the real name of it.
Yeah.
It is, you know, a Mario Sunshine mod, of course, but we'll be back in just a few minutes with more. So stick around, don't close that tab, don't close this. Welcome back, everyone, to GDQ Hotfix. Thanks for sticking around through the break. This is Parallel Universe, the show about community-created content. I'm Helix. I am joined by Mad Tyro as we blast through this 3-hour shine challenge in Super Mario Eclipse. How's it going, Mad Tyro?
I'm doing well. After that short break, I think we should just get right back into it. So 3, 2, 1, start. And then we're going to be getting back into some new content again, like right here. So that's what we're doing next. I'm here with my co-commentators, Bad SMSer, former speedrunner, Zcan, another current speedrunner, and Joshua, who is the creator of the mod himself. So, along with the other people that helped, obviously, but he's like the main orchestrator of the mod, pretty much. How you guys been?
It's a good 5 minutes.
How is this run going for you, Tyro? Good, bad, neutral?
I'd say neutral at the moment. I've had a few mistakes, but nothing like... I think I'm still on pace at the moment, so that's good.
Yep. Also worth noting, this is another new area exclusive to Eclipse. The Pianta Pit, which, as you might have noticed, is accessible by just falling down from Pianta Village, certain parts of Pianta Village. It's a very, very cool new place. Non-traditional in terms of Mario Sunshine, in the sense that there's no like shine select or anything like that. Everything kind of just takes place in the world as you know, collect shines, and there's still blue coins and shine sprites, things to do. It's definitely one of the more unique things.
Tree skip. That was something that I found, by the way.
That reminds me, what is the underground forest area in Odyssey called?
Deep Deep Woods?
Yeah.
What it's called?
Yeah, it's called
so
Deep Woods.
Deep Woods was the inspiration for Pianta Pit in terms of how we designed it in Sunshine. It's a large part of why it doesn't have a shine select screen, and it's kind of ambient with like the fog and things like that. But Pianta Pit itself was really just us kind of creating an answer to the creative question that I feel like almost any child playing this game would have had, which is, what was underneath Pianta Village, because you've obviously got this giant sprawling tree that the entire village takes place on top of, with a massive abyss beneath. And so we wanted to create something that was at the bottom of that abyss, just to help further extend Isle Delfino. And I really do like where Pianta Pit is at this current update in terms of like polish and gameplay and stuff. It used to be kind of a nuisance because in the older updates, the graffiti marks that you can get blue coins from blended in with the environment, and so it's very difficult to find them. And the blue coins themselves are also pretty difficult to find. And in more recent updates, we made it so that way they don't blend in to the environment as much anymore. And some of the blue coins are a little bit easier to find. So Pianta Pit is at a nice balance in the current 1.1 update of being environmentally consistent and then also fun to play.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who accidentally stumbled into the Pianta Pit by clipping through the bridge. Known very common thing to happen in Mario Sunshine.
I'm getting destroyed by these bees.
So in Eclipse, Pianta Pit has 2 entry points. There's a stream that runs off the tree that is very popular with Sunshine enthusiasts for being particularly buggy. If you drop off into the pit from there, that is one entry point. And then if you drop down into the pit from where the bridge and all those mushrooms and stuff are, that is the second entry point. And if you fall down into the pit too far away from those 2 spots, you'll just die. So that's worth noting. And we wanted to kind of visually indicate that you could drop into the pit from that particular water stream. I believe we lined up a bunch of coins that kind of trailed down to help indicate to the player that it's safe to drop in there.
I didn't want to jinx it before we got to the point, but Tyra just pulled off Yoshi Skip, which is one of the scariest skips in the run because missing it means you die and you have to go all the way back. But clipping into the mushroom there as a Piantissime or Mario can be quite challenging and scary in a speedrun.
Yeah, that is not easy. They patched out the original version where you walk through the tree with the collision fixes, but speedrunners find a way. We find a way. That's how it works.
So in Super Mario Eclipse, we had a kind of general creative direction whenever it came to the NPCs, making them be pretty silly in the custom content. So especially in Lighthouse Island and Perdo Rock and Hotel Lacrima, if you go to each NPC and talk to them, a lot of them are silly or rude or eccentric and just generally weird, because we felt like that fit the vibe of the Piantas especially. But you'll also come across some treats in the dialogue of genuine lore that evolves from episode to episode, and you can kind of get a world building sense from these NPCs about their daily lives and the going-ons of the place that you're currently playing in. And there's just a lot to be discovered in that regard. And most of the dialogue was written by my brother, who is currently in chat as Rhythm Raccoon, the co-creator of Super Mario Eclipse. He did most of the dialogue for Super Mario Eclipse, so shout out to him for that. He definitely blew it out of the park with the dialogue in this mod. It's all very spectacular.
Yeah, I remember having a genuine laugh at some of the dialogue in Pianta Pit the first time. I also remember being pretty moved by one of the dialogues that was in one of the in-between areas as well. Super well written. Loved interacting with that first time I played through.
We actually do grab that shine in the run, so it feels kind of bad to just skip over that dialogue because it is really touching, but we do gotta go quite fast, unfortunately.
I think writing is another underrated aspect of mods like this.
Oh, for
Something a lot
sure.
of people don't think about, but like someone has to write all that dialogue. Someone has to write it and make it good. It seems like that was done here. It's too bad we won't see it, but hey, just another reason for you all to play this for yourselves.
Yeah. On the topic of dialogue, in Super Mario Eclipse, there is a message from Rhythm Raccoon, a personal one, as well as a personal message from myself. And that one is a secret. A secret which no one has found yet. There are a few people that know about it because they were like in the loop whenever I put it into the mod, but currently no casual player or just like person in the community otherwise has found the secret message yet. It is new to the 1.1 update that just came out about a week ago. So, you know, that's a bit of a signal to the community and anybody watching who is familiar with Eclipse and has played it to try and find it, you know? And if you find it, let me know. I would love to see. I know that Epic Wade, who also was a very influential developer of this mod, I believe he kind of put his own little message into the mod as well. It's not as secret, but I don't think anybody's actually come across it yet just because the update is so new. So feel free to try and find that as well.
Yeah, it's the first I'm hearing about any of these secret messages, and now it makes me really want to look around.
You have a task after this is over.
I think I was one of the people in the loop, so I think I know what it is, but I should still probably go read it anyway.
So this message here, I'll just say, this one is Rhythm Raccoon's message. It's not a secret. You have to read it to get a Shine Sprite, but it is worth pointing out since he's here in chat and we're kind of discussing the behind the scenes of the mod. So.
That's sweet. I was able to read some of it as it was scrolling by.
Yeah.
Yeah, those secret messages for the both of us at least come from a place of like self-reflection in regards to how we feel about the mod and the development along the way and how it impacted our lives and others. So they're definitely they aren't like contextually within Sunshine. They're very much a fourth wall breaking sort of message. Although with mine in particular, I did try and flavor it to be at least more like Sunshine, so it doesn't feel completely out of place.
Good sub clip.
There are many clips in this submarine, by the way.
That was really
I
scary.
do not know what that was. I do not know what was going on in that. Ooh, buddy.
The 3 or 4 clip, if I remember correctly, to the submarine.
Yeah, I think it was 4th try. Which is like still a little bit faster than the fruit clip method from like Vanilla Sunshine strats. It's like if you've seen some Vanilla Sunshine, you know what a fruit clip is if you watch like some other stuff. Like if you watch some Sunshine Bingo, they use fruit clips for like a variety of different things.
The fried clip, sidestep.
No, it's like when you get like a fruit. So like you go grab a pineapple or a durian, or I guess not a durian, but you go get like a pepper or a coconut. Yeah.
So something I want to personally point out about Worship Island that maybe some of the people watching the stream noticed is that Worship Island, you're playing underneath the ocean right now. You're playing like underneath the water layer. Worship Island is itself a technical achievement because Sunshine does not have like volumetric or otherwise like spatially obedient water, right? It is a very well-known thing in the Sunshine community that if you go from like dry environment to being like underneath a plane of water, Mario does not start swimming. You can just walk underwater as if it didn't even exist. So in Eclipse, I had to program pretty much from scratch the logic of having like volumetric water bodies. So that way stuff like Worship Island can be possible where you have this like really dynamic water geometry where you have like the top layer of the ocean, and then if you swim through the like entrance channel to the naval base underneath the beach, there's another layer of water that is beneath the ocean. And it all works properly, and it's a really cool thing that's kind of hard to notice if you aren't like previously aware of it.
Yeah, it's pretty seamless because I didn't even know that was like a thing for Sunshine. It's like I knew about the walking underwater glitch, but I didn't know that created like level design complications. So that's pretty cool.
That's really impressive, actually. We were talking
Another
about this
reason-
earlier. Sorry, you go on. I can ask this whenever.
Okay, I was just kind of like amending on my thoughts. Was another great example of why the volumetric water is necessary is in base Sunshine. If you were to try and swim underneath these warships, you would stop swimming because the collision of the water stops at the hull of the ship. So the volumetric water logic that I created allows Mario to actually keep swimming underneath the warships without like it bugging out.
Nice save, by the way.
Thanks. Whoa, that guy pushed me in the shine spray animation.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, we talked a bit about clipping earlier. With all this new geometry and such, what is the process of like finding clips like? Like, do you have an idea of where it might work, or are you just running around trying random spots? Or give me some insight here.
That's kind of what I do. It's just like you take some knowledge of how the clips kind of work. So like for example, the fruit clip, it's like fruits just inherently like let you clip through stuff. They're like small walls and stuff. So then you just like try it against a whole bunch of different walls to see like if anything's gonna work. Or like I know that it's more been like Diablo. He's another active speedrunner of this game. I feel like he's been the one that's found a lot of the clips and the geometry by just noticing like a couple of small oddities. And then Flash, like our rudimentary tasks are pretty much, he makes like a whole bunch of manual tasks for this game to like test out different stuff. He's got a program that lets him see like level geometry, and using that level geometry program, he's able to find like tiny seams in the level geometry And whenever there's a seam, if you just like get close enough into it, you could go through it. So that's been a way a couple of the things have been found. Like Rico One Skip, for example, relies on a seam clip that Flash found through the level viewing program, which is pretty sick.
That's such a boon, having a level viewer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flash is also in chat, talking about scene clips as well.
Yeah.
So, just to get out of the way real quick, I don't know if he is currently watching this stream or if he is now sleeping, but the mission where you take the key to the treasure chest to go to Shine Sprite was actually programmed by a friend of mine who goes by Just Missed, so I wanted to shout him out for that.
Nice. That's cool.
Oh, and on that note, thank you all for being here. Everyone in chat, of course, but also the four of you for being here. At least in North America, it is starting to get a bit late. So I appreciate you all being willing to hang out for this.
Yeah, I made sure to sleep in a lot this morning, as much as I could.
You and me both.
I'm naturally a night owl, so this wasn't too uncomfortable for me, but I was definitely happy to show up and provide some more commentary for Mad Pyro's run. I really enjoy watching his runs. He does some crazy, unhinged techniques in his speed runs. They're just really, really entertaining to watch, and he's also always been a big supporter and kind of like point of communication between me and the speedrunning community for Eclipse. So
I'm a night owl myself. Makes it really nice that I have this time slot, honestly.
Yeah. I'm also a night owl person. I work night shift, so it's like just right in where my schedule is at, so it lines up really nicely for me personally.
Yeah, to your point, Joshua, it's always cool to have someone who's so dedicated to running something that you've made. Very cool.
I just noticed now, probably too late, that Red Nine Nut in chat was talking about the topic of like swimming underneath the warships and how that's new to Eclipse. And the answer to your question, which was if Rico Harbor, if you can swim under those boats or not, is no, you cannot. You are correct about that. In Rico Harbor, the boats just kind of have like invisible walls of collision that extend from underneath them to the the surface. So you can't swim underneath them. That is correct. And that's because Nintendo themselves knew that their engine couldn't handle it. I think one of the really interesting kind of like insights that I have to Nintendo's headspace while making this game due to my experience working on this mod is that there is never a bunch of NPCs and a lot of moving objects in collision at the same time. And the reason for that is because Sunshine is horribly unoptimized, as well as like the compilation itself wasn't well optimized. It's sort of similar to how Super Mario 64 was built with like no optimizations with the compiler. So the problem is that moving collision and NPCs are very expensive and they slow the game down. And so you'll notice, and this is true for our levels as well because we had no choice really, you'll never find a bunch of moving collision and a bunch of NPCs in the same level. There's always either lots of NPCs or lots of moving collision. And the kind of line between one or the other tends to be that the major hub areas have lots of NPCs and the secret courses are the ones with the movie geometry, right? It's convenient that happens to work out from a gameplay perspective.
I think I have one counterpoint to that. Just like as an outlier. What about Pianta 8?
So the bluffs
Yeah.
They do not have collision.
Ah.
They have a hit radius, which a lot of enemies and stuff have. It's just a sphere with or it's technically a spheroid. It has a radius and a height, and it's just like the spheroid that fits that radius and height, right? And that's literally a radius check.
Gotcha.
So it's extremely cheap to do that. What I'm talking about, which, thank you for the question because it'll help me clarify this. What I'm talking about is like actual geometry holes. So and that's like HULL. I'm talking about like modeled geometry. So, boxes and platforms and things like that. A great example of that are the rotating blocks in secret courses. That is an example of the moving collision I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if the fluffs were considered collision or not. But I guess that makes...
I mean, they have collision, but it's a completely different system.
Yeah. I almost forgot this shine over here.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick because it's just a little fun fact. I want to make sure I get it totally correct. But off the top of my head, I think Mario is like 5'3", something like that, based on like his collision spheroid measurements. Because the game in Super Mario Sunshine, every unit of world, like every world unit is a centimeter, and so you can get like heights and things like that based off of that. So I'm going to quickly grab that real quick so I can verify, so I'm not just spreading misinformation.
Is Piantissimo the same height as well?
All the characters are the same height in terms of their collision, anyway. Okay, so what I discovered back in 2022 was that in Super Mario Sunshine, Mario is like physically, like his visual model stands at about 5 feet and half an inch, and his collision is 5 feet and 2.99 inches, which, let's be real, it's just 5 feet 3 inches. So that's just a little fun fact from me screwing around in Sunshine. So yeah, this is Erdo Rock. As Brace was pointing out in the stream chat, this is the first custom level that we really committed to making. I honestly can't remember if it was the first one we came up with conceptually, but Erdo Rock was the first custom level that we were really trying to churn out. But the fun thing about that is that it was also one of the last that we completed. We had a lot of complications with Erdo Rock due to memory limitations because the map itself is very big, and so it went from being the first one we were developing pretty much to one of the last ones for us to complete. An example of some of the kind of wild things that we were having to do to make Erdo Rock work was I think we lost access to the model in some fashion. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so I had to crack open the Erdo Rock visual model in a BMD editing software called ReStudio, BMD being the Nintendo proprietary format for models in Sunshine. I had to go in to ReStudio and do material TEV stage editing to basically turn the ocean and the sky from blue to pink. So their actual texture and materials are blue, but there's TEV stage graphics programming in the model that makes them look pink in game. It's really strange, but it's because we kind of I kind of wanted to do the morning sunset thing because I think my brother Rhythm Raccoon also wanted it to kind of have that like sunrise vibe. I think I said sunset earlier. That sunrise vibe. So it was pretty last second that I made that change, but I pulled through. It was very, very strange. Air to Rock was definitely one of the most like complicated levels for us to make. We just had a ton of complications.
This train station as well, and the whole concept of the Delfino Express is also super interesting. You can jump from that train station down into Rico Harbor to just be in Rico Harbor, or take the train to any of 4 different places as well. It's a very cool new mechanic.
Yeah, and the Delfino Express itself is inspired by the Space World era beta media of Sunshine, where it was evidential that Super Mario Sunshine was originally going to have a train system that you could use to travel to different locations. It probably would have been the substitute, or it probably got substituted by the graffiti portals that you can jump through. And there was originally going to be a currency called Soul Coins, and there were these kind of like burnt orange looking coins with like a sun outline and a face on them. And we don't have a lot of knowledge as to what exactly they meant to the original concept of Super Mario Sunshine. But we just know that they were a currency that, you know, had some meaning probably to the train station, but possibly not. I believe there's also like a really, really old message file in Sunshine that contains messages from that same era of development, where you can actually read the dialogue of like a couple of different characters from that era that were completely scrapped from the game. There's like YouTube videos on it that are really, really interesting, and I definitely encourage anyone who's interested to look it up. You can probably find it by just searching up videos about Super Mario Sunshine Space World.
The save at the end of that, the secret. I know it's Piantissimo, so you can just double jump, but still,
Yeah,
it was quite scary.
a slight heart attack. Nothing too bad.
This is so clean.
Thanks.
I'm telling you, Tyro's insane. Like, I used to speedrun Mario Kart Wii, and at one point I held a world record, and I sit here just in awe of how clean Tyro's executions of these things are.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? I mean, I am no slouch myself when it comes to speedrunning. I've played lots of Monkey Ball, we will say. But I'm still constantly mesmerized by stuff like this.
Monkey Ball is really hard, though. Not saying this game isn't hard, but it's like, you gotta be so precise with Monkey Ball, it's actually insane. I've watched a couple of like Monkey Ball stuff, and just like some of the stuff you guys do in that game is just like also mind-boggling.
That's what I'm getting at, though. Like, I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Yeah.
But it's different for every game, and that's what I think makes stuff like this really cool. It's just that every game is different and very difficult in its own way, and very impressive.
Yeah, I totally get the appeal of speedrunning Super Monkey Ball, by the way. I had Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 growing up on the GameCube, and on both games, I had just like a memory card full of each of replays where I was just doing like the most insane stunts and trying to get like the fastest times possible. And I spent so many hours, so many days, so many weeks on that.
My memory cards from childhood were unusable because I had so many replays saved on them. I think even now I still have memory cards full of replays from like 2008.
Yeah. I don't know where those replays are at this point in time. I do think my brother, Rhythm Raccoon, has them on hand at the moment. Like, the memory cards are with him. And I do think they still work.
And that's the GameCube games.
The GameCube is
Yeah,
big.
honestly.
GameCube is awesome. It's turning 25 years old this year, which is going to make a lot of people feel old, including myself. But it's
There's
awesome how these hold up 25 years later, especially, you know, even more so with mods like this one.
Right. I'm also turning 25 this year. Wow.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I'm younger than the GameCube.
Yeah, same.
But of course, having an older brother meant, you know, that's kind of the era that I got to play. And I'm very grateful for it, because GameCube had a lot of gems on it.
yeah.
I'm grateful that the Wii was backwards compatible. Otherwise, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have gotten to play a lot of them.
Yeah, I still think that the Wii is Nintendo's greatest console, only because of how moddable it is, genuinely, and the fact that it's backwards compatible with the GameCube. Like, it feels like you can play almost anything on it that's like GameCube or like earlier.
I could talk about this forever. I won't here, but I love the Wii for that.
Yeah, I would buy for the Wii. There's kind of like, there's a large part of me that feels bad that the GameCube was just objectively a failure in terms of sales and like reach and stuff. But there is a smaller part of me that is kind of happy about it, because it feels like eyes aren't really on the GameCube scene yet, for even as much as they already are. And it allows people like myself and the Eclipse team and, you know, other passionate GameCube developers, the people who stuck by the GameCube even whenever other people said it was trash or wasn't good, we get to set a precedent to bring everybody else in. You know, we get to make sure that, like, the GameCube starts off with a strong foot in terms of modding. Because I feel like whenever you mod for a platform that's extremely popular, like, I think the technical advancements progress a lot more rapidly, but you also get a lot of like bloat and like kind of like unremarkable kind of like 2-day projects from people. And so I kind of like the idea of like having this very clear, like, well-directed start that can then blossom into something where everybody can mod.
It's a good point. I hadn't thought of it in that way.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about how the GameCube did not sell well, but then you see the massive like cult following it has, so to speak.
Yeah, I think.
But again,
GameCube,
I think some of that does get to be credited to the Wii for having backwards compatibility.
that is true, but I definitely think the GameCube has one of the strongest, like, long-term followings of any console. It definitely stands out. Oh, I'm super biased, but like, I feel like other than maybe like, I guess you could say the same for like the Xbox 360, and there's probably like people who go for the original Xbox because of like nostalgia or like the antique factor. But I feel like with the Xbox and PlayStation, there's not as much appeal to like stick to the older consoles, because for Xbox and PlayStation, their focus has always been more on like just as powerful of hardware as possible within a certain cost, rather than like uniqueness or like gimmick or feature, while as Nintendo has always been about that. And so their consoles, as they age, kind of continue to have a distinct identity of their own that has an appeal, even whenever they are very distinctly outdated in terms of like just rock and beating power. And of course, the GameCube has a phenomenal library of games. The
I
Wii
can
does
agree
too
with that, yeah.
because it backwards supports the GameCube, but I would say on its own the Wii is a lot more bloated with like the what are they called? The like really cheap games. I don't
Shovelware.
quite remember right now. Yeah, thank you, shovelware.
That's
I
what a
knew
lot of people would call them at least. Yeah.
I knew it was something that ended with where, but I just couldn't get it. Yeah, thank you.
The Wii
Right.
has a lot of games, just in general. The Wii's library is absolutely massive because of how well that console sold. I do want to bring things back to Eclipse. We have a chat message that is somewhat relevant as we're playing as Piantissimo. How challenging was it to add the new characters?
Okay. So, on one hand, it's actually pretty easy in hindsight. You only have to like run a single gecko code or use my modding platform Better Sunshine Engine. But then after you've done that, it's just a matter of importing a model over Mario's skeleton, so like his bones, the rig, right? And then giving it a pass through Super BMD, and there's maybe like a few details that I'm not remembering. People that actually do these character mods can feel free to amend what I've said in chat, but the process of like getting a custom character model in game is actually quite trivial. The much more difficult part was giving Piantissimo his custom moveset and like his unique physics and things like that. So adding the double jump, adding whatever, right? You know, the water balloon toss, for example, which is originally his move. I just decided to give it to everybody else for fun. But to do that, basically Super Mario Sunshine, just like Super Mario 64, has a state machine for Mario. So he has a 32-bit value that is just a unique identifier to tell the game what state he's in, and then it just runs it through a state machine that filters it down to a specific like execution of code that runs whatever state you're in, right? So to give new movesets without decompiling the game, I had to find a way to extend upon that state machine. So I ended up creating this ability to register like state handlers to the state machine with IDs. So you give an ID, you give it like a callback in the code to run whenever that state is hit. And using that sort of framework, I was able to add all these new moves quite easily. The hard part was creating that framework in the first place. Absolutely. And that kind of segues into a broader topic of working on Eclipse, which was developing the framework to make creating this mod possible. I want to say pretty easily the first 3 to 4 years of my reverse engineering and programming work for this mod, which, just as a reminder, we spent about 5.5 years on this. 3 to 4 years was spent just reverse engineering the game and developing the modding framework that made this mod possible. And then the next 1.5 years or so was spent on creating things like boss fights and new moves and whatever else, the actual features that users get to experience. So I won't go deep into it. I'll keep it short because I know it's not exactly relevant, but the framework that I made, I call it Better Sunshine Engine, as I mentioned earlier. It's kind of cool because it's like a sort of mini Minecraft forge. You're basically able to program these modules that can be composed together in the file system, and they work with each other. So Super Mario Eclipse is technically made out of multiple of these modules. So there's one called Better Sunshine Moveset, which adds all the moveset, right? And then there's another one called Super Mario Eclipse, which is like the Super Mario Eclipse boss fights, all the custom logic that's unique to Super Mario Eclipse. And then there's another one called Mirror Mode, because Super Mario Eclipse has an unlockable mirror mode that you can play whenever you 100% the game. So you're able to, in the Sunshine modding community, create all these isolated and modular mods that make it really easy to just compose what you want yourself. Anybody can take a base Super Mario Sunshine ROM that they've, legally gotten from their disc that they purchased, as we like to say. They can install Better Sunshine Engine onto it, and then they can just find whatever modules they want as people develop them and create their own experience. And I think that's really cool.
That is very cool. I'm very impressed by what you and the rest of the team managed to accomplish with this.
Yeah, a lot of my development on Eclipse was spent trying to kind of think in advance about what the modding community would need. That way, once Eclipse was over, there would already be a foundation for future mod developers. We really wanted Eclipse to bring in a new modding community to Sunshine and really bring eyes and attention to this game and show people what's possible.
That's awesome. It's one thing to create something this cool, this impressive, with this much content. It's another thing to do it while also looking out for the greater modding community. I think that is... I've said the word impressive a lot, but I'm going to keep saying it because it continues to be how I feel about it.
Definitely an accurate word talking about Eclipse.
Yeah, really, Eclipse's entire philosophy could be summed up as we wanted to benefit all aspects of the Sunshine community, the modding community, the speedrunning community, the player base themselves. And in particular myself, I really wanted to kind of father in the future of the Sunshine modding community through Eclipse. And I really do feel like I've achieved that. Ever since Eclipse, we have had a surge of new people coming into the Sunshine community trying to create mods of their own. There's multiple that I can name off the top of my head, such as Super Mario Sunset, Super Mario Elements. There's one where they turned it into a Christmas mod. There's Sunshine Co-op. There's Eclipse Co-op. You can play Eclipse with your friends. And then there's also smaller scale things too. There's a lot of people coming in trying to create new character model mods. Just importing their OCs or importing characters from other games and series that they love. And, that was something that really came into play after Eclipse first released and so many people got to see what Sunshine could be capable of.
What a ledge grab.
Something go on. Go ahead. I didn't mean to talk over you.
I think these clouds are present in base Sunshine as well. And they just happen to be usable by Pianissimo, unless I'm mistaken about that.
No, they're in vanilla.
Yeah, it's very convenient that Pianissimo can jump just the right height to be able to use them to climb up.
Right? It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you listed a bunch more mods that are, already out or in the works for this game. And that reminds me that I would love to see more, not only of Sunshine, but of a whole bunch of stuff in general, of course, for the show. If you have a mod or a fan game, or even a randomizer or bingo, something that is not the vanilla game, that you are speedrunning, that you want to show off, I would love to see it. You can type, I believe it is !submit in the chat. Let me make sure I'm correct here. Yes, it is !submit. I just popped it in the chat. You can follow the link. You can submit to our hotfix shows at gdq.gg/submit/hotfix. And you can submit not only for Parallel Universe, but for any hotfix show or all hotfix shows. So even if you don't have something that necessarily fits the theme of this particular show, if there's something you're running, you can still submit to show it off on hotfix. So I want to see it. My fellow showrunners want to see what you got. So go ahead and follow that link and submit whatever you would like to show off.
A race of Super Mario Sunshine randomizer.
Ooh. Yeah, see, that's another thing that I could have on at some point.
Also, I think I just clipped through the floor when trying to as I was going to that secret, and it almost got me killed. That I've never seen before. I just decided to fall through the floor. That was nuts. It was very brief because I double jumped back up through the ground, but that was something, I guess. Yeah, these ropes are pretty finicky and small. They're pretty hard to land on.
Something else that I was noticing there in that red coins was using the water balloons to reset your momentum almost, or give yourself control in the air, a different control in the air as well. So there's a whole lot of tech that goes into even something like the water balloons.
Yeah, the water balloons are super versatile too. They let you do quite a few different things, honestly.
Also just kind of funny, lobbing water balloons.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that Nintendo added those clouds there because I think their intention was that the player would use them as a means to help navigate as the block is rotating around as checkpoints. But they're really, really small, and unless if you have blood, you're not going to be able to make them grow. So I don't really know what they were thinking with that. I don't think I've ever seen anybody unironically try to use them.
I think
you can't use them to climb up, really.
I think it's more so during the secret, the reds that I just did. It's when you do have flood, so that you can position and grow them to grab the coins while the block is rising or something. But
I found that it's hard to do that on the time crunch that you have for grabbing the reds as well.
yeah, that's true.
Because to wait for the block to go all the way back. But they're mighty convenient here, where you can just climb them as piantissimo.
Yeah.
Going to another junction room here.
Dude's junction rooms are super cool.
The junction rooms had a vague Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask era inspiration.
I'm reminded of, this might be a deep cut for some people, but fellow GameCube game though. I'm reminded of the Tony Hawk's American Wasteland transition areas. But these are better.
The boat, as scary as it's ever been, of course.
Yeah, it kind of illustrates how problematic the boat is in this game, that you can have a world record level speedrunner looking like they're uncomfortable using it. For even as well as he uses this boat, it's still just, you can tell that it's a struggle.
Yeah, the boat is stressful.
Ooh.
Oh,
Should still probably grab that, honestly. I'm going back. There we go.
another thing, of course, is these nozzles have new tech. Both the rocket nozzle and the turbo nozzle were reworked so that you go much faster on the turbo nozzle, and you have the ability to dive before the rocket goes off to go much higher and have some speed as well, as we're seeing here with these dives sending Tyro much higher than they normally would.
I honestly just thought I would hit the load zone, which is why I went all the way past and fall all the way down.
So yeah, on the topic of nozzles having changes or upgrades to them, as we were just discussing, Rocket Nozzle has a new move that we have very creatively named the Rocket Dive. It just allows you to dive during a rocket nozzle launch, which is really useful for converting the direction of your momentum. So it's a very useful tool for speedrunners. You can see Tyro just launching himself very, very far forward. And then, of course, the cool thing about Sunshine is that oftentimes forward momentum gets converted back into upwards momentum. So even though he's blasting forwards, he still ends up going as high, if not even higher, than the original rocket nozzle jump goes. So it's a very fun move for speedrunners for that very reason.
Yeah.
And then Turbo Nozzle, as we just saw, has also been reworked. You no longer have a charge time. Instead, it activates immediately, but depending on how far you press the R button is how fast it goes. So you can actually change your speed while you're turbo nozzling, and the slower you go, the sharper your cornering becomes.
And now that we've cleared Corona Mountain, we'll be seeing probably a lot less of Mario for the rest of the run, because we unlock a new character. I don't want to just say who it is right now, because eventually we'll swap to that character, and I feel like that'll be fun. But yeah, Corona Mountain is kind of the end of where Mario Sunshine is, but not even close to the end of what you get out of Super Mario Eclipse. There's much after.
I would say roughly about 30% of Super Mario Eclipse takes place outside of Isle Delfino.
That jump all the way up to the shine was ridiculous.
Thanks.
Something about that was, it looked very precise, but also extremely fast.
Yeah, the turbo spins are pretty cool.
So a fun common misconception that people have is that I'm like this crazy Sunshine fan or enthusiast, and the truth is that I have actually never 100% completed Sunshine. The best I've done was getting around 105 to 110 of the Shine Sprites, and of course beating Corona Mountain. I've also not played Sunshine very much in general. I've maybe did like 3 or 4 like actual playthroughs of the game just growing up, and I really developed my love for Sunshine because of my development on Eclipse. I started Eclipse as it was an assignment, really, by my brother. He wanted me to do something for him. And that was to change the lighting in Delfino Plaza, where it's like the darkness. He wanted me to change that for him. And once I changed that for him, he became inspired and he was like, we've got to make a mod. We've got to make Super Mario Eclipse. Of course, we didn't name it that yet, but that was kind of the dialogue going on. And I was actually a little huff and puffy about it initially because I don't tend to like following his orders very much. But it was definitely for the better because I've learned so much through making Eclipse. And I also, fell in love with Sunshine as a game, and it gave me a lot more appreciation for it. And, the community in Sunshine is just phenomenal. And, I've really been able to reap what I was sowing in regards to all of the hard work that I've put into this mod. So, shout out to my brother for forcing me to do something I didn't want to do, basically.
It's a fun story. We talked a bit about how everyone else got into this game, or this mod, but, since we're talking about it, I'm curious, how did you all get into Mario Sunshine in general?
It was there in my game shelf from when I was a kid, and I'm like, ooh, it's Mario, let's play it. And I really enjoyed it. It was probably my first 3D Mario that I played. And of course, whatever the first, of any genre that you do is going to be one that you have a lot of nostalgia for. And I played a lot on a lot of it, as well as Luigi's Mansion as well. Those 2 games I sunk so much time into when I was a kid. So yeah, I played a lot of Sunshine, and then I started speedrunning it a little bit when I kind of went back to it and had a nostalgia kick. But at that point, it feels weird to say it, but that was like 7 years ago that I started doing the speedrunning. But yeah, definitely just playing it as a kid and growing up with it.
Yeah, for me, I first came across Sunshine because I was like maybe 9 years old, and my mom just happened to get it and added it to her little GameCube collection. And that was my introduction to 3D platforming Mario. We had Mario Kart Double Dash for a little bit before we got Sunshine, and that, I believe, was my first introduction to Mario in general. So nothing too eventful or spectacular, just a kid coming across a game, really.
Yeah,
for some people, yeah. Me too. I played first time on Sunshine when I kid, on the GameCube, by the way. I think I didn't finish a game when I kid, if I remember correctly. But my first impression of this game was completely different because I started on all the console, on Genesis and Master System. It's completely different to the other game when I play. It's a it's very good game. I think maybe on the older ages. I play the game actually, and now I play every day Super Mario Sunshine or Eclipse.
I think for me, mine's pretty much like the same as, I believe it was Bad SMSer, where it's just like my family just had the video games, and just like ever since my childhood, it was just like a game in my collection that I had and just like remembered playing. And then I eventually like came into Twitch and saw some speedruns, and I was like, this game looks pretty interesting. And then
pretty much how I got into Monkey Ball as well.
Yeah. Where am I going?
And with that, so we've just passed the 2-hour mark, so we'll take our final break after this next shine.
Gotcha. There's gonna be 2 like right back to back here, because I'm grabbing the hundreds along with this too.
Just want to point out that Epic Wade has joined the streamer chat. He was one of the other major developers of this mod. So everyone say hi to Wade, say thank you for all of his hard work. He made a lot of the stages in Eclipse. He did a lot of the kind of foundational work that we polished on top of.
That's awesome. I will perhaps ask you more about that after, once we come back from our next break.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh. Yeah, destroyed me.
Whoa. Oh yeah, you weren't kidding about there being two very quick.
Yeah. That'll be like 1 second.
All right, for those of you
Okay.
who have just joined us on Hotfix during some of our longer runs, we like to take a bit of a break just to make sure everyone has a chance to take care of themselves, get water, things of that nature. Before we do, I want to very quick give a thank you to everyone who is supporting Games Done Quick. Welcome back, everyone, to Parallel Universe on GDQ Hotfix. Thank you for sticking around through our last break. This is the show about community-created content, things such as mods and fan games. I am Helix. I am joined by Mad Tyro, who will now be finishing out this 3-hour Shine challenge of Super Mario Eclipse. How's this run going for you?
I think this run's going pretty good. We're on pace to get to where I want to get to, which is the last level of the game. You gotta get about like a shine a minute in order to reach there, because it's got a shine requirement of 180. So we still got like a little bit of work to do, but I think we can do it. And then I am also joined by my co-commentators, the creator of the mod himself, Joshua, and then 2 speedrunners of the game with Badass Messer, former speedrunner, and Zekan, who is a current speedrunner of the game. So, how you guys doing?
Feeling pretty good. I'm excited for the last hour.
Me too.
Yep, me too.
No more
All right.
breaks.
Doing
We're
well.
going all the way to the end now.
All right.
So when you're ready to get back into it, give us the countdown.
Let's get this started. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right. So what are we up to right now? I know there's a new character coming out.
Yeah, we'll see him on the character select screen here, going into pinup, but he'll get used in a little bit. We're still sticking to our main man at the moment, Pandissimo, because he's freaking broken. Pandissimo's so correct.
He is ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Every time you switch to him from Mario, I'm like taken aback a little bit.
Something else that I don't think anyone's pointed out, but Yoshi doesn't need fruit to be woken, and you can just have a green Yoshi. And it just won't have any juice. I'm pretty sure that the way that it works in Eclipse is that instead of the juice meter being tied to like the amount of time that you've had Yoshi, and then when it runs out, Yoshi's cooked, it's just literally the amount of juice that you have, and once you spray more, that depletes. And I believe Yoshi can also exist in the water just fine now. I recall there being a mechanic in the Pianta Pit where you need to put Yoshi in the water. So Yoshi has kind of been reworked as well. When you think about it, the nozzles have been reworked, the movement's been reworked, there's new characters, and Yoshi's been reworked. A whole lot of the game is different and feels a lot better.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because like I keep like forgetting that these things are different and like forgetting to mention them, because as the creator of the mod, I've been seeing these things on my screen for years, and it's so normal to me at this point that I just totally failed to like recognize that it's custom. So thank you for catching that one. Yeah. In regular Sunshine, Yoshi cannot swim in water, and his juice is tied to time. So just over time, it'll deplete until he eventually dies. But in Eclipse, I said that's ridiculous, and I looked back at the E3 era of Super Mario Sunshine where Green Yoshi did actually used to exist, and I essentially tried to re-implement that with my own flares. So yeah, now Green Yoshi is possible, and he actually starts out that way. You can hatch his egg by just walking up to him even without a fruit, and he'll start as Green Yoshi. And it's only once he eats a fruit that he turns into one of the many colored Yoshis. And the juice meter is tied to how much juice you actually spray. That was something I did. And once it depletes all the way, he'll convert back to Green Yoshi instead of dying. So overall, Yoshi is just much more convenient now. And being able to play as the regular Green Yoshi that we all know and love is also something that a lot of people have derived joy from. And I made it so that way Green Yoshi can swim, but the colored Yoshis can't, because there's a kind of like, if you know lore thing that the Yoshis are like made out of paint or goop or whatever you want to call it, and that's why they can't swim in water. But Green Yoshi isn't. So Green Yoshi gets to swim in water, and it had the happy side effect of making the Dirty Lake secret or not Dirty Lake, like the Dirty River secret with like the little leaf boat in Delfino Plaza that you get to from that one island warp pipe. It's a lot easier to get there now because you can just take Green Yoshi over to the island by swimming, and then you get off of him, you go back to the market, and you just grab one of the fruits and stalls and bring it to Yoshi on the island. So it's a much more straightforward and convenient process to get to that secret now.
Nice save on that level, by the way. Chat's mentioning it too.
Thank you, yeah. That was close. We're going back.
Something interesting about this particular version of the run, where you're just trying to get as many shines as possible in a time limit, is figuring out which of the shines are longer and which of them are shorter, and how to actually route those in. Because, like, these secret levels, red coin shines, because we have Piantissimo, are just extraordinarily fast compared to many of the other levels.
Yeah, it was certainly a fun routing challenge, like routing out what shines I should and shouldn't get. Because I was pitched this idea like a little more than a week ago, and I was like, well, I'll see what I could do, pretty much. See where I could get,
Yeah.
and then...
I didn't give you a ton of advance notice, but you are handling it incredibly well, and I'm glad it's been fun for you.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable. It's been cool. I've had like a couple of ideas, and then just like getting to showcase like a couple of unique routes that aren't present in like any speedrun at the moment, I feel like is really cool. So... But yeah, pretty soon we're gonna have our first showcase with Luigi. Okay, that was close.
Oh, that's sad.
That was also close. But that one I didn't make.
This basement. Yeah, this basement secret in Lighthouse is also one that I saw and heard the music for from when I first saw the game. And at the time it was even more complex than this. I think it was simplified for 1.1. But yeah, that's a very funny level.
Yeah, it was like one of the few stages that got like a balance change due to its difficulty in previous versions. I believe it was that one in Warship 5 had like stuff made slightly easier, because they are pretty tough secrets. So, especially with not Pantissimo, you try to do that with Mario without Flood, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun mental pitfall that we found ourselves in. Was we wanted the new Eclipse content to kind of like mesh with the rest of the mod, maybe be a little bit more difficult whenever it came to the island stages, with like a progressive difficulty curve as it like goes into the second campaign of the mod and so on. But the issue was that because we were all, by the point that we were making these stages, very we were very, very used to the Sunshine moveset, and we were like decent enough at the game. What ended up happening was we made these stages way too hard because to us, what ended up being way too hard for like a casual player was just a little bit difficult for us. So as we rolled out more updates, at least like half of the work that went into them was usually nerfing one stage or another to make them easier. Usually it was the secret courses. So that was something interesting. And you know, even with the 1.1 update that just came out like last week, we nerfed more stages. So the submarine secret course at Warship Island that we saw earlier, like the big blue environment, that one got nerfed. And the one that Mad Tyro just finished playing in the like cellar of Lighthouse Island, that one also was nerfed. It used to be more complicated and the platforms moved faster. So that was an interesting sort of predicament for us, was trying to correctly gauge how difficult things were.
Well, and while we're on the topic of custom levels, I wanted to ask, what is everyone's favorite custom level in this game? Chat, I also invite you to answer this. Sorry, you said?
In terms of like the world, or in terms of like secrets as well?
Ooh, that's
Because-
a good distinction.
I think the secret courses count as a part of the world, because the secret courses are not like, they're not really anything without the world. They're just like a platforming challenge. I think it's safe to say let's rate based off of secret courses as well. And how about for fun, we also call out what our favorite is in terms of just like environment or thematics. So we could say
Yeah,
one
you
for
made my question
gameplay,
even
one for
better,
thematics. Yeah.
I always felt that Airtoe Rock felt like, in terms of thematics, that it really, really fits. So that's probably my favorite in that respect. But also, like, I feel like it might be a little bit unpopular. But one of my favorite levels that I just encountered playing it, just because of how everything felt and how it was themed, and you know, how the levels were, especially the secret level in it, was Spectra Casino, which is not one that we've gotten to yet, but one that we will be showing off here as well. A big fan of that level as well.
Yeah, for me it's maybe Lacrima Hotel, my favorite custom level, because pizza time.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to show them off. We'll see. I think for me, in terms of thematics, it's kind of a tough call, because I really like what we did with almost all of them. There are a couple that I feel like could have maybe been better, but I'd say for thematics, it's a tough call for me between like Lighthouse Island, which is where we are right now, and if we're excluding junction rooms, because I don't think it's very fair to include them, but they would be my favorites if I could. Excluding junction rooms, Lighthouse Island or Red Lily City.
Oh yeah, Red Lily City is great as well.
Those are my favorites for thematics. And then my favorite for gameplay, as somebody who hasn't actually played Eclipse beyond what was necessary to develop it, which is ironic. I'd say my favorite for gameplay is probably Lighthouse Island. I'm not gonna lie, Lighthouse Island is great, and I think it's because of the Dark Side boss. I just really like it.
They made this bigger in this one. Still struggling.
Well, Tigro, what is your favorite world thematically and your favorite in terms of gameplay?
I think my favorite is probably Yoshi Village, which is the last thing that we're going to get to this run, hopefully. And then gameplay-wise, I'd still honestly probably say that it's Yoshi Village. There's it's kind of unfortunate because what optimizations we found in the stage from a speedrunning perspective, I found these cool turbo clips with Luigi that made routing that stage super interesting, and then it eventually got obsoleted by Pantissimo because Pantissimo's gonna do Pantissimo things. But the route that I made for that stage in particular felt really satisfying, and it was one of my favorites in the whole game. I just got wall kick janked. So there is a glitch in this game where, for some reason, if you hit a wall, you'll randomly not get the wall sliding animation and you'll just fall for fun, I guess. It just happens.
I personally have no clue why it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that's peered into Sunshine's code one too many times. So whenever it came to developing these levels, it was kind of interesting because we were trying to figure out the best way to distribute work amongst multiple people. And what it really came down to is we recognized strengths and weaknesses, and so kind of what the flow looked like was Wade would do what modern game developers would call a sort of gray boxing. Now, he wasn't literally gray boxing, but he was kind of blocking out levels, doing the 90% of work in regards to setting it up, right? He'd put in objects, he'd get the geometry and textures and stuff in, and then once that was said and done, Nate, who goes by Uncle Meat, he and I would go in and he would do visual polish. So he would make everything look really, really pretty, and he'd do all the fancy animations and stuff. And then I was the guy that did all the stage scripting and programming and stuff. So that was kind of our development flow for how things went. It started with Wade, or my brother, Rhythm Raccoon, as he goes by. It would start with those two. They would do the major blockouts, they'd get the objects in, and then Nate would go in and visually polish everything, and I would give the stages their scripting and programming. And once we kind of got that set in stone, we started getting really efficient. But at the start, it was a lot more rough because we didn't fully understand how we wanted to function together as a team. And it definitely led to some emotional turmoil and just inconsistent work and just taking a long time to do stuff. We definitely had to iron things out as a team over time. Oh, I just noticed we have Inkstar in the stream chat right now. He is the base game Super Mario Sunshine's #1 world record speedrunner as of, I want to say, the past year or so. He actually just set a new world record recently that I believe was 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 23 seconds for the any percent no exploit category, because there's a exploit in Sunshine that lets you do
arbitrary code execution.
Thank you.
There you go.
It was escaping my memory. Yeah, arbitrary code execution, and that it allows you to finish the game, I think, around 40 minutes. as it stands. So he does the any percent speedrun of the game where that's not allowed, and he currently holds the world record, and I saw that he is in the stream chat right now, so that's pretty cool. It's kind of like the other side of the Sunshine community.
Well, now we got like all of the custom stuff. I guess not all of it, but this is from here on out pretty much going to be custom things in Eclipse.
Yeah, we have officially reached the Cruiser, which is the second campaign of Super Mario Eclipse. So if you consider the original game to be the first campaign, Daisy Cruiser makes up for the second campaign of Super Mario Eclipse. So Daisy Cruiser is a hub world, much like Isle Delfino, and it has levels that extend from it. So we are now seeing Mario's Dream, which is one of the most gorgeous levels of Super Mario Eclipse. Honestly, I had kind of forgotten about it earlier. This one definitely also contends for a thematic favorite of mine. It's just beautiful, and the music for it is fantastic as well. Once again, shout out to Steven and Trevor for that. But we're going to see that the level design and the visual design and stuff are just a little bit more disconnected from the original vision of Sunshine, because we really wanted this to stand out more as like a truly custom extension of the game.
Yeah, this looks awesome. I also really like the Daisy Cruiser reference. The fact that you made it into a hub world is super cool, and thematically fits quite a bit as well. So.
Something else I'd like to point out here is that these rocket dives, doing them as precisely as being done here, it's relatively precise to get it perfect. So this is pretty impressive movement that we're seeing here throughout the level to get where you need to go.
So something that kind of is a little difficult for people to like pick up on is the bottle rockets in Eclipse have been massively improved. They actually shoot in the direction that you want them to on a consistent basis, and they don't blow up as much. They're a lot more convenient to use. In Base Sunshine, they would shoot in the direction that Flood's nozzle was pointed at. And the problem is, when you shoot the rocket with a hard R press, Flood's nozzle kind of like jerks around all over the place a bunch, and it causes it to like shoot in directions that it shouldn't really. So in Eclipse, I put in the work to fix that and make them actually shoot in the same direction every single time. And so it makes missions like this one for Mario's Dream, or the one that we saw much earlier in this run at Warship Island with those mines that were in the water, it just makes them a lot easier to accomplish and like a lot more fun to play. But I think it's really interesting. Earlier we were talking about like if it was like difficult to work on the mod and like kind of what that looked like a bit. And I think kind of the really invisible thing that was really difficult about making this mod for everyone involved, but I can only really speak for myself, is the mental health side of it. I think that's something that like not many people are very aware of. It kind of is a sort of assumption that like if you're working on a mod, it's because you love it, and so it's like you definitely love it, and then people who are looking forward to it become a little bit it's almost like they kind of fail to recognize it, like the needs of the people working on the mod. And so I'm kind of making this a point to bring awareness to it, that like people working on mods, they have their own needs as well. personally, for me, working on this mod, it was actually very tiring. It caused my brother to have a kind of bad mental spiral for a while, and for myself, I definitely had some struggles too, just because of how long it took. But I think the strangest thing was right after the mod release, I kind of found myself having a bit of an existential crisis, because what had happened was, after working on Eclipse for 5.5 years, I didn't realize I had formed this really like unhealthy dependency upon developing the mod for like my lifestyle and where like I placed my worth and stuff. So once the mod wasn't like done and we kind of stopped working on it, I felt lost. And I think it's really interesting because I don't think many people are aware of that side of mod development.
That's a really good point. And allow me to congratulate you for making it through all that. You know, I mean, working on this for 5.5 years takes a lot of mental strength, and it from what I can tell, has paid off. I mean, it is incredible. Sorry, someone else was about to speak as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's very clear the amount of time and effort that went into the development, and I think the product of it and what we have as a result is, you know, some of the most incredible modding that we've seen, certainly for this game, hands down, but also kind of just in the modding scene in general recently. You know, worth it is kind of hard to quantify, but certainly the struggles are real there, and I'm glad what came out of all the effort.
This little guy right here that Tyro's standing next to is really funny, because if you talk to him initially, he'll be like, I like found this durian and it's mine, or whatever. Like, he took the durian and he's like super proud of it, and he's like, I'm gonna have food for the entire cruise, because he's super small. And if you take the durian away from him, then he gets mad and like upset at you, and he's like, why would you take the durian away from me? Obviously, I'm paraphrasing all of this, but his dialogue's dynamic depending on what you've done with the durian. And if you return the durian back to him after you've kicked it away, he'll be like, wow, it came back to me. That's so awesome.
It's really cute, actually. I like that a lot.
So in terms of, you know, the modding community and sort of like the modding ecosystem, I just want to take a moment to point out that currently I am developing a modding software called Junior's Toolbox. I'm not doing any sort of plugs for it, but essentially it's just like Toad's tool in a way, or whatever the Super Mario 64 editor is called, that everyone knows and loves. You can think of it as like if Unity or Unreal Engine were specialized as modding software for Sunshine. So it allows like live object editing in game, as long as you have it hooked up to a Dolphin emulator instance, and it's got all sorts of features for editing and creating scenes. It's got a lot of new features that are on the way for it. It's not released yet. It's currently private, but what my intent with this message is just to tell people that there's really exciting things incoming for the Sunshine modding community to look forward to, and that maybe some of y'all might find interest in using it someday to create mods of your own.
Yeah, nice shot. I want to take a moment here to share something with our Hotfix viewers. If you haven't heard yet, we want to hear from you. GDQ is looking to learn how you watch speedruns, so if you have a few minutes, please visit gdq.gg/survey. Just let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see. If you are a Hotfix watcher, or if you just have thoughts about Hotfix, we want to hear them. Anyway, this level looks super cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the level I was mentioning before. that I really, really enjoyed. That chessboard over there you can see covered in goop is kind of like a whole another section to this level as well. And the Jenga tower that we saw earlier is one of the places that it very explicitly recommends doing this as Piantissimo, and it's a lot of fun to climb that tower as Piantissimo as well.
Yeah, the Jenga tower, the dimensions of it, it's just the perfect size for Piantissimo's double jump move. So because you can redirect your momentum when you double jump, it just allows you to perfectly navigate all of the Jenga blocks in the tower.
And as we are into our last half hour of this run, I wanted to give you all an opportunity to share a little bit about just yourself, what speedrun plans you have, whether it's with this game or with other games. We've been celebrating Super Mario Eclipse a lot, as we should. It's super cool. But I want to make sure that you all have a chance to talk about yourselves a little bit. So Tyro, we will start with you. What do you think you'll be up to in the near future?
Yeah, I'm mainly just speedrunning this as like my main speed game. So if you want to watch more Eclipse content, I'm gonna be like one of your guys that's gonna be doing that. I mainly speedrun 240 at the moment, but I speedrun all of the categories for this game except 197, which is all shines without blue coins. Because I feel like if you're just gonna do that, I might as well just like pick up 240 anyway, you know. But if you want to watch some any percent or some more 240 after this, that's basically what I'll be doing for the most part, so.
And as an aside, chat is super impressed with the way you are flying through this level.
Thanks. Yeah, this is one of my favorite stages for these struts that I made. The turbo nozzle struts on this chess is nuts.
And then moving on to Bad SMSer, if you have any plans in the future that you want to shout out?
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've done speedrunning. The last game that I was speedrunning was Eclipse back when. I did some routing for it back in the day for any percent. Helped out with figuring out good routes, and I'm currently kind of working on a little something as well to try to find a good character select screen route as well, so that's good. But also, it's very possible that there's a resurgence of me speedrunning because I've kind of been feeling more inspired lately. I ran Monkey Ball 2, Portal, and Mario Eclipse, and Mario Sunshine, of course, as well. So yeah, it could be in the future for me.
I do recognize you from some Monkey Ball streams, like, years ago.
Yeah.
Zikan, how about you? What are you up to with regard to speedrunning or just streaming in general?
Speedrunning Eclipse, Sonic Origin. Sometimes I make some tests on Sonic Ram Hack on stream. But yeah.
And then Joshua will finish out with you. What are your plans for the future with regard to speedrunning, creating, anything you want to share?
Yeah, so I don't speedrun anymore. That was an activity I used to do back in my teens, but at the moment, I just finished making Eclipse. As I mentioned earlier, I'm working on Junior's Toolbox, a new modding software for Sunshine. So if you are interested in doing Sunshine modding, I definitely encourage you to look into that, because once it's ready for release, it'll be a really nice way to do Sunshine modding. Additionally, I am passively working on a new game with some friends of mine. So whenever that is ready to be showcased, be on the lookout for that. If you like Super Mario Eclipse and you like what we've done as mod developers and game developers alike, then I'm sure you will enjoy what we have in store with that regard as well.
Exciting stuff. Thank you all for sharing. And I want to share the plans that GDQ has for the near future. I'm sure a lot of you are aware, but SGDQ is coming up honestly quite soon. It is in less than 2 weeks. It starts on July 5th, lasts through July 11th. I will be live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can visit gdq.gg to learn more. You can, in fact, still register for the event if you want to attend, and you can check out the schedule at gdq.gg/schedule. You can also type !SGDQ in chat for more details. Don't miss it. Summer Games Done Quick 2026 coming up sooner than you think. July 5th through 11th. And to get back to the game, I would assume that this is the vaporwave level that people in chat were talking about.
Yeah, this is Vaporwave.
I see why people like it.
It's got such a good vibe. This is like some of my favorite music in the game too, and this like area specifically of it.
Yeah, and that nozzle challenge that Pyro just did is a super interesting concept too, where you're ascending kind of platforms that you have to land on, with the rocket nozzle ideally, but your nozzle changes depending on which one you land on. So you have to figure out the right ones. I think that's kind of an interesting concept as well. As well as this timed parkour challenge we've got here. There's kind of like two sides to Vaporwave as well, because we have this sub area where about half of everything is, and then the other area where about half of everything is. So this is definitely a super cool world.
This music is very fun.
Yes, it is. All the music in this mod is just phenomenal.
I'm glad I can hear it. Sometimes when we do these, I don't always have game audio, so I'm actually very happy that I have it now, because getting to listen to this is a nice treat.
Yeah, that was something that recently got fixed with 1.1 as well, was getting the custom audio working on console, which is huge. One of the major updates that came out along with that patch. It's pretty sick.
I really appreciate the efforts of modding communities to make sure that their stuff is playable on console.
Right.
It's super cool. That's
It was a
something the
principle.
Monkey Ball community does too.
Yeah, it was a principle of mine when developing this mod, because as I alluded to earlier, I really wanted this mod to kind of like father in the modding community, really like kickstart things, and I wanted that foundation to be one where console compatibility was the standard. So I did put in extra effort and care to make sure that happened. In terms of the custom music, I actually had to contribute to the Nintendo repository to add in like the patching logic necessary to make streamed audio in Super Mario Sunshine function properly. So the efforts that I participated in to make console compatibility work for Eclipse went beyond Eclipse into other projects, which is kind of cool.
If I recall correctly, getting the streamed audio working was quite a big headache, one might say.
Yeah, I mean, it just turned out that GameCube hardware is very finicky. There's no room for error, which does make sense, you know. Emulator is a lot more generous, so on Dolphin Emulator, the streamed audio would work because it was correct enough to get by. Not to mention, Nintendo's itself was just causing issues, right? But with that aside, Emulator was still like allowing for leeway because not everything is perfectly emulated. And debugging effectively on GameCube hardware is just so difficult, and even on Wii hardware it's just not very accessible. I tried to get a USB Gecko once, which allows you to do like actual like code debugging on console, and it ended up destroying the memory card ports of the Wii that I tried it on, so I never used it again.
Oh no.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, emulator just, it allows for things that console doesn't, and it made it extremely difficult to pinpoint any problems. but I eventually came out on top. It was a lot of work. Even now, there's still issues on console. There's been this bug that's been plaguing Super Mario Eclipse on console, where in certain levels, if you look up at the sky, it'll crash the game. And we legitimately have no way to figure out why that's happening. As it stands, like, none of the people on the team have the hardware necessary to, like, debug it to the extent that we need to discover why it's crashing.
So we have about 20 more minutes or 19 more minutes, and how many more shines do we have to go to hit 180? I think we'll see when we get the next one.
Yeah. I believe it's 12? I believe I counting blue coins, I am at 168. If I am not mistaken.
It's fair to say that you're probably on time, right? Like, not ahead, not behind. I feel like you've definitely been making mistakes, but none that were, like, super, like, existential, and your movement's been pretty clean, so...
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good overall. I think I'll have a little bit of extra time unless something catastrophic happens. So I'll probably have time for, like, 1 or 2 little tidbits after, depending on, like, how soon it is.
So fun fact.
The equivalent of Piantissimo we have here as well.
Yeah.
So a fun fact is that the new Shadow Mario episodes and the new Piantissimo races, which includes the Nokesia one that we just saw, they were all created and were only possible because of Junior's Toolbox. I actually added a special, like, modding tool to Junior's Toolbox that lets you record your controller inputs, and it will, like, translate them from local space to world space, and then, like, serialize it all to the file format that the game expects to replay those movements over Shadow Mario and Piantissimo. So all of these missions were made possible by Junior's Toolbox.
So as an any percent runner, what I just saw you do there was kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Just clipping through the whole world and then getting into the pipe like that. That was, yeah, that's really sick, actually.
Casual fall through the floor, you know. Whew, that was close. The shine does feel like it takes a minute, but for the, like, 1 minute average that I need for a shine, this shine was averaging about, like, 50 to 55 seconds. So this shine does actually end up being good for the route, even though it is, like, involves quite a bit of waiting.
That shine parallels very closely an objective in the Billy Hatcher mod that I had on last episode, where you just climb very high above the map. It's very funny how similar it was. Like, I was getting, like, deja vu almost.
Yeah. Red Lily City, it is my brother's sort of brainchild. This was, like, his magnum opus that he was always super proud of in terms of the environment and stuff like that. It actually comes from, or I guess I should say it's inspired by a larger project of his called Praxis, which is currently on the way. It's like a multimedia series that he's been conjuring up for many years, but he brought one of the environments from that into this mod, and that ended up being Red Lily City. So that's some interesting kind of behind the scenes lore on how Red Lily City came to be.
I I've been actually trying to find a way, ever since I got to this stage and saw that shine all the way up, like, through the whole universe, I've been trying to find a way to skip needing to actually use the bubble for it. And I think in theory there's a way to do it, but it's so ridiculous because you gotta get a frame perfect long jump out of like up warp landing through a tree leaf with the rocket nozzle. And then
So,
I don't even know if that'll make it. And then, ow.
So new to this update, Starbits and Starglow Road, which is Red Lily City Secret Course. You got a little galaxy reference going on here. They replaced the gold coins, and you can see in the UI that there's a Starbit as well.
Was this secret like fully reworked? Because I seem to remember having to smash like rocks or something.
It was reworked in 1.1. So now you need to get all of these blue guys, the blue pokies.
Yeah, I ended up updating it because while having something from Sunshine's beta was cool, I don't think very many people playing the mod actually appreciated it for being that. Like, they just didn't know. And they were really finicky. Like, sometimes you'd ground pound on them and they just wouldn't crush at all. And I also just felt like it wasn't very visually clear what you were supposed to do. Like, generally, I think it's fair to say that more often than not, people were completing the mission by just interacting with everything they could rather than like having a very clear idea that that's what they were supposed to do. So I ended up switching it up to something that was more communicated and obvious.
Also, there's something that we have in no other route at the moment is a soft reset. And that's to bring us back to Plaza and not have to like re-enter the Shine Select cutscene. So, it's a little unique thing from this run alone. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I noticed. That was really interesting. The way you thread the needle with stuff like that is so crazy.
Oh, where's my other red? Pachinko's doing Pachinko things. Thank you.
So we did put in work to make the Pachinko secret course less atrocious. There's like a wind push box that normally sends the player like all the way across the Pachinko machine in the base game, and we drastically reduced that. That's basically it, because that's kind of like the thing that makes the Pachinko mission terrible. It's a lot easier to actually navigate to where you want to go with that push box reduced a lot. There's definitely been less complaints about Pachinko, but there are still some people that hate it on principle, and I don't blame them. I just want to point out real quick, it's not something that you would think about, but it's really obvious when you like see it in numbers. It's pretty incredible that at this point in the run, Mad Tyro has been in a loading screen for almost 11 minutes.
Yeah.
I noticed that. It does add up.
Just imagine sitting on the loading screen for 11 minutes straight. It's like Sonic 06 vibes.
I was gonna say it. Like trying to play a Pokemon game on the Switch 1.
True.
I love how like 1-to-1 this is with the Mario Kart track, by the way.
Yeah.
Fun.
We, as a team, collectively have this sort of like in hindsight issue with this level, which is that it just feels very slightly too big. Like we scaled it too large, but it's not like super egregious. It's just kind of like in hindsight, if we were to like update this level conveniently, we would probably downscale it just a little bit.
I can see that. That's fair.
Eventually, if a decomp is finished for Sunshine, which there is one currently in progress that has about, I think, 30 to 40% completion, but if that ever is finished, I do plan to port my modding suite over to it, and then I might take the time to also port Eclipse into it. We'll see. But needless to say, even though I'm done with the mod, as it stands, if a decomp is done, I'll probably take the time to help migrate it over.
All right, only 2 shines to go before we unlock the last level.
How much time do we have left?
8 minutes.
8 minutes? Okay. I think that'll give me enough time to show off the Peach Beach thing while I'm here then, instead of coming back to it.
Yeah, you are at almost exactly 8 minutes left right now. Bananas on this. No, it's fun.
Yeah. What about these bananas?
So this is just like Mario Kart. There's checkpoints that I laid out on the track, and Mad Tyro is just taking the shortest path that he can.
This mod is so charming. I think that's a good word for it. I've decided. There's a lot of charm to this mod.
Definitely a lot of heart was put into it. So this mission actually gave us a lot of trouble because we wanted this track to like spawn just like that, and that means it's dynamic. And since it's dynamic, it is technically moving collision. And as I mentioned earlier on in this speedrun, moving collision really likes to slow the game down. So we were coming across this problem where, especially on console, people would end up lagging the game pretty badly while it was spawned. And the timer in the bottom left screen, not the speedrunning timer, but like the actual game timer, it does not slow down with lag. It is based on the CPU like system clock. So if you lag, the timer will run away from you and you'll run out of time. So there's people that were like struggling to beat that mission because it would lag on console. So we had to like tweak it to make it where it was not only less lag prone, but also gave the player enough time so if something like that were to happen, they wouldn't get cheesed out of being able to complete the mission.
This level is all improv, by the way, because these coins spawn in a random position based off your blue coin count and your life, or not your blue coin, your save count and your life total. And I have no idea what mine are at the moment, so we're figuring it out.
Do you have autosave enabled?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been paying attention to that. Well, that definitely means you have no clue. I don't think it's possible unless if you have like an external tracker that like shows you how many times it saved it's definitely not possible to keep up with it if it's on autosave.
Autosave, which is also a new feature of Eclipse, by the way. Before, in normal Eclipse, you get a pop-up every time you grab a blue coin to make you have to manually save at every dialogue.
Yeah, and every
Much
shine
nicer
too.
to have autosave. And every shine.
Yeah, I guess while we're closing in on the end of the speedrun, I should just go over some of the things that better Sunshine Engine and Eclipse have to offer in terms of quality of life. We have auto-saving, we have aspect ratios, so you can do 4:3. You can do a 4:3 open mat if you're feeling fancy and theatrical. You can do 16:9 for a traditional widescreen, 16:10 for a Steam Deck sort of aspect ratio. You got 21:9 for the ultra wide guys. You've got 32:9 for the enthusiasts, and then you have 60 FPS as a new frame rate that you can toggle on and off. You can invert your camera axis, so you can make it inverted or not inverted. There's probably some things I'm forgetting, but there's a lot of quality of life things that you can toggle in the settings menu of Super Mario Eclipse.
Oh no, save Yoshi.
Oh, come on. I missed it. I'll try one more time.
He's trying to show off an Easter egg.
Yeah. Oh, come on, really? There it is.
Okay,
There we go.
This is fine.
it's fine.
This is fine.
This is fine.
But yeah, if you want to see like what this Fire PD boss does, because I don't really have time to like finish them out. It's like a really long shine, so.
Yeah, you have technically just under 3 minutes left.
Just under 3 minutes, yeah. Fire PD takes
So, I
longer
mean,
than
we'll,
that,
we'll let
so.
you finish whatever you're doing and
Yeah.
explain while we do shoutouts as well. So. But we will stop the timer in 2.5 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, Fire PD certainly takes longer than that, so.
Yeah, Fiery PD, the end of the mod, whatever else that's cool that we don't have the time to show off are all things that any one of y'all can check out for yourself by playing the mod or even just watching a playthrough on YouTube.
Yeah, and this is hosted on Game Banana. If you just look up Super Mario Eclipse Game Banana, that should get you there.
I've got 3 minutes. It'll be close for me being able to do this. Ugh, come on.
It's just crazy that you do the most insane speedrunning tricks and then you're like bonking on flat walls. It's definitely a speedrunner moment because I know exactly what that's like.
Try to walk through a one doorway. I can't do it. Hello?
Alright, we're about to see the most incredible mission in this mod. This is pizza time.
Chat is popping off.
This was the divine inspiration. So yes, you can kind of pre-position the pizzas to exploit the mission, and this is intentional. This is one of those things where it's like we knew about it and we didn't have the heart of Cole to like patch it out. It's one of those, if the player has the inspiration to do it, then we should let them. situations.
Makes me want pizza.
Pizza would go amazing right now. Yeah, they're definitely popping off for pizza time.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're not delivering the pizzas yet. There we go.
And you got the music too.
You got the music.
If you take too long, the NPCs will get mad at you for giving them cold pizza.
You did hit 3 hours. If there's anything else you want to do or you had planned on doing, go ahead.
No, I mean I've already wrapped up showcasing all Fire PD and Yoshi Village for like an incentive for anybody who wants to get into playing this mod to see what that's about. Because I do feel like
Don't speed through this. Let's read it.
oh my bad, my bad.
You kind of went through it. Basically, he says, "Oh, you made all the money, ha ha ha. This is ours," and he just takes it all, and he's like, "Here's your like tip or your pay," and he gives you back 1 coin, and then he calls you an ungrateful snob for being mad that he took literally all but 1 of the coins that you earned for delivering pizzas, and he's like, "Ah, fine. Here's like a small bonus, just like a measly bonus, and you get a shine sprite." And it's just like a fun little joke about how like their sense of value is completely flipped upside down. That they're like obsessed with gold coins, but they just don't care at all about the shine sprites.
Right. It's surprising how many Piantas just have shine sprites in the game. It's like, oh man, we're encased in darkness, and then it's like, bro, you have like the things.
Oh, I don't remember the name of the channel, but there was a Sunshine like theory video that just came out that was super well produced. I think it was like Relax Alex or something like that. And he was just like going over how corrupt the Pianta society is. And essentially his final conclusion is that EGAD orchestrated the entire thing to push sales of his new flood device so he could make billions. And it's just super unhinged and amazing, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Anyway, yeah, with that said, I suppose that does it for this run, but I will give you all the opportunity to do shoutouts. We'll start with Mad Tyro. Where can people find you?
You can find me pretty much on my Twitch channel, which is just twitch.tv/MadTyro. I believe it's all lowercase, and then I have the same username, MadTyro, for my YouTube channel too.
And then any shoutouts, people you want to thank, etc.
Probably just like my family, and then like supporting me for doing speedruns and streaming and stuff, and then also the Sunshine runners and Eclipse runners, people active in all the Discords, because without them, it's like there's a lot of stuff. Because Sunshine and Eclipse are so similar, there have been like a lot of crossover between like people having suggestions and ideas and like optimizing the game and stuff, and it's been real nice. It's been real cool. And then obviously like my co-commentators, Josh, Bad SMSer, and then all the other active community runners, Diablo, Ricos, who are EU, so they couldn't really attend or commentate, unfortunately. But shoutouts to them, because they're sick. I'm glad that they're running this game with me. But
Thank you. And then Bad SMSer will go to you next.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch at BadassMSer. I don't go live all the time these days, but it might happen. Could happen. Shout out to Tyro for the amazing run, and Josh and the Eclipse team for making this awesome mod.
I guess we're all in the same order when I asked about something else earlier. So ZK will go with you as well.
You can find me on Twitch at Zekan37, and you can also find me on YouTube at Zekan. And thank you for Joshua and Team Eclipse to make an amazing mod of Super Mario Sunshine.
And speaking of Joshua, any shoutouts, things to plug?
Yeah, I want to shout out the people who helped develop Super Mario Eclipse, the people who participated in Eclipse team. I'm forever grateful to them. I want to shout out my family, my friends, particularly my 2 older brothers, Rhythm Raccoon, as he went on here, and then Leaf. I want to shout out just all the people who have played the mod and shown support. And most importantly, I want to shout out my wife, Bree, who has been in chat tonight and has been very supportive for me the whole way. You can find me at Twitch. It's just the Joshua MK, all lowercase. And then you can find me on YouTube as Joshua MK. You can also watch official Eclipse Team content at the YouTube channel Eclipse Team. It's just Eclipse Team. And yeah.
Yeah. And I believe the Sunshine Hut modding server was something that you wanted to plug as well, if I'm correct. I have a link here that I'll post in chat. Place to go for modding Sunshine. Should that be something you're interested in? And I mean, Super Mario Eclipse, if this run, this 3-hour Shine Challenge wasn't enough to make you want to play this game, I don't know what would be. Please check it out. I need to check it out myself. This was an absolute blast. Thank you all 4 of you for being here, especially, I mentioned this earlier, it's getting quite late for some of us. But I greatly appreciate you all being here. This was a lot of fun. I'm so happy to finally have this on. And thank you everyone in chat for joining us. It was fun to see you all react to everything that was going on as well. And that'll do it for us tonight on